Hold up. I need a yeah. There we go. That was great. I love the way that came out. I was also in the void. I think it was my screech. It lowered the defense. It lowered the defenses of your Streamlabs. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Nope. Terrible. At everyone at if I just put Celestial Fox, that's just you. So yeah, I'll just put that. Live. Oh, you're muted? That's so fucking funny. Oh my god, that is so funny. Cause you just know how to mess things up.
I am the true scuff queen. Thank you for pointing it out, Foxtrots. I would have been here all night not noticing.
Yeah, I just unmuted just to verify. You're good. Your audio's working now.
I can't believe I did that. Okay, it's fine. It's good. It's Gucci. We're good.
The audio's working now.
Anyways, I finally got a starting suit. Facepalm. Anyways, I finally got a starting suit screen. Everybody proud of me?
Honestly, yeah.
Yay! This week is the return of Fanfic Friday.
And we're
Where
here to set our hearts ablaze.
set your spirit ablaze.
Dun,
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 dun.
dun, 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 dun.
I actually have that song in my string playlist.
Leave it up to the professionals. Oh my god, Turtle. Anyways, as you might have seen from the thumbnail, this is a Demon Slayer X Avatar The Last Airbender fic. I kind of figured we were going to be doing, like, polls to decide what the next fics are, and this one won. Before we start reading, any thoughts, Serge? I already told you it's Rengoku-centric.
No, yes. You did tell me that, so I'm really excited. Rengoku's my favorite Demon Slayer character, even though he's literally only in there for one arc.
It's okay, because he's amazing.
He leaves a really big impact, surprisingly.
Yeah,
for a
he's
character
a big
that was
mentor
only
for Tanjiro.
yeah, and like we were just talking about like Nanami and Yuji, how we didn't think they had that big of a bond with their short time, but like Rengoku and Tanjiro
They also have a
for like
short time?
it just works differently.
It's
I don't know
because they
why.
have time to goof off together. That's why.
Hmm. Fair enough.
It's not
That
like
that that
all
sounds about
serious
right.
the whole time. So he gets a chance to like see Rengoku when he's not in work mode.
Yeah, actually, he gets to see him not in work mode
Yeah.
first, and then he sees. Yeah, no, yeah, fair
So
enough.
like he gets to know him
Uh,
as a person before as a mentor.
also, like the only actual question I really do have is like chronology. So this is where like is this like an a not an AU but like Rengo Isekai kind of deal? Like when Rengoku gets donutted, does he get teleported to the Avatar world, sort of like what happened to Zuko with Ruby or something like
Yes.
that? All right. Second question: does this take place? I'm assuming based on the thumbnail, this takes place during Avatar Aang. Is this the war specifically, or is this after?
This is during the canon events of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right. Okay.
So like doesn't do the comics, is it isn't well, it's a little bit before, but I bet not even getting hit over the head with a stick can make her any dumber. Here's the thing, Foxtrots.
Foxtrot, I've tried.
Here's the thing. Violence fixes a lot, not gonna lie. Oh my god. I'm actually like really intelligent, like book smart wise, and I am like pretty good when it comes to like problem solving. But I can be like very what's the word for it? Unaware. That's the word for it. Cause like I have like issues. Like one of the things that makes my gaming so bad is because I have a bad left eye. Like it doesn't excuse some of my stupid mistakes, but it excuses a little bit of them.
It doesn't excuse running straight into a wall. I will say
I
that.
will say I ran straight into a wall as a strategy because I wasn't able to make the jump. So I figured I'd take the hit and then keep going.
You just needed to just be a little bit closer to the wall before jumping.
I know, but I couldn't manage that. So that's what I'm saying. I So it could be worse is what I'm saying. Anyways, I enjoyed this fic. It is a bit longer than Ruby's.
Using one DDRM. Foxtrot, no.
Being bullied. Stream hasn't even like really started and I'm being bullied. You can't bully me for
No,
this. I'm
it's a
not playing
good thing.
gameplay.
We need to bully you at the beginning because if we don't bully you right now, we don't get a chance to because you're just reading mode,
I
and
am
at that
locked
point,
in.
the only time we get to actually make fun of you is when you say something silly instead of saying what's properly there.
Yeah, which also happens because I'm dyslexic.
I feel you, no worries. Hey,
Yeah.
Turtle, I have a question, by the way, Turtle.
Can we get much higher? So high.
Oh God, we're starting that way, huh? You know what? That's fair. It does say ablaze.
I gotta set my heart ablaze. Also, it's way past the first 5 minutes of the stream, so we're Gucci.
You are
We're
correct.
Gucci.
Too late, bitch.
Where's my
I'm
lighter
in
still?
Spain. I'm like 4 puffs ahead.
Damn, alright, Mr. Four Steps Ahead, Mr. 4D Chest over there.
Honestly, it's more like
Damn.
DDR2.
Come on, bro.
My brain is. Wait, have you seen that video with the dog? Like they're just saying, like you have a smooth brain, nor
Yes,
ridges or
absolutely.
lumps or little bumps, just a smooth brain. I love that video.
Have you seen the meme that's just someone like kind of with like a baggy face and then the other person's like all serious like, "No, I'm not going to call you a good boy."
Yeah, and then it's just like the angry face. I love those memes.
Yes.
I love those memes so much. Like this meeting was shit.
I love the fucking Knuckles and Rouge
Oh
one.
my god,
Rouge
that
just
one's
being
so
like,
good.
"I want to be a good girl," and Knuckles is like, "No, fuck you."
No, fuck you. I love them. I love them a lot. But anyways, I think it's time we get started into setting our spirits ablaze. Were you just like smacking your lips? No, he's taking a puff, guys.
I was lighting my lighter up to my mic.
Don't melt it, please. Check what?
Of course, I'm not gonna melt it. I'm not putting it that close.
What the heck do you mean, buddy? What do you mean, Crash Boom? I wonder how she would
Or
do playing 5D chess with multiverse time travel. Maybe better, because that's so far beyond the rules of chess at that point.
honestly, yeah, I was thinking that.
Check DMs real quick. I checked. Do not see anything. We are done here. We are done here. Anyways, Set Your Spirit Ablaze by this guy whose name I cannot pronounce.
Mixley99.
I think that's probably it.
I'm terrible with names, so I could have just completely mispronounced that as well. But that's also a weird name, so maybe I said it right because of that.
You know what? Fair. Okay. So, let's begin. Chapter 1. Someday we'll meet again. I should also probably say this fic has over 500 faves and watchers.
Okay, that's actually a pretty big number.
It's a lot more than Ruby's.
Also, chat, if you hear a mechanical keyboard, that's because I will be there with you guys in chat in order to minimize interruptions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where am I? What happened? Rengoku wondered. Opening his eyes and taking a good look at his location, he had no earthly idea of where he was or what was going on. He was standing in a garden filled with the most beautiful array of flowers and clear skies, faster than what his eyes could see. Although if he had to choose, the most prominent thing that caught his eye was the sun. He gazed. It was bright and beaming in the center of everything around him, and surprisingly enough, he couldn't take his eyes off it, along with being surprised that it didn't hurt his eyes to look at. Taking a deep breath and trying to feel his surroundings, he noticed how in tune he felt with everything here. And while not all that surprising due to his flame breathing, it did feel weirder than normal. He couldn't quite place his finger on it, but it felt like the sun itself was supporting him here. So we finally meet, Rengoku-san. Looking around, Rengoku didn't notice he was here with anyone else, and immediately took a fighting stance with his blade, wondering who had been watching him. Show yourself. It is not wise to sneak up on me when my guard is down, so I'd appreciate if you made yourself known, stranger, Rengoku said, still weary of whoever the voice was. Sorry, I should have made myself known before speaking. I apologize, as I mean you no harm. The sun above him slowly changed shape and drifted closer and closer to the... Holy shit!
Whoa.
Whoa, did you feel that?
Whoa. I'm feeling it.
You're... What? What?
That's crazy.
We're having an earthquake!
Hold up, I'm gonna go check on my mom and Diego.
Holy shit, we're having an earthquake!
That's whack.
Like, it's still wobbling a little bit. What? Oh my gosh. Hold on, I'll be right back. I need to... Hi, Emma. I'll be right back. I need to check my grandmother, too. Because we just had an earthquake.
Okay. Wait, where did the Yumi go? That was actually crazy. Oh, hello, Amarax. Dude, it actually does take forever for chat to load on YouTube. I don't know why. That makes sense. Checking out Banana. Like it wasn't a strong one, but it just kind of I like felt the ground wobbling. If Uni hadn't brought attention to it, I wouldn't have brought attention to it. I would have just been like, I'm high. Oh, there's her face.
It was really strong. I thought my computer was gonna fall over out here.
Wait, it was strong for you? I was just telling chat that if you hadn't brought attention to it, brought
No,
attention
because
to it
like
either.
my computer was like my actual like physical thing was like tilting over, and like my desk was wobbling and all. Oh my!
Yeah.
1 second, I was asked by Nana to check on how big it was.
Fair enough.
What a hell of a start.
Honestly, yeah,
Um,
that's it's kind of crazy that was strong for you because, like, I was telling Chad, like, I just felt the wobble. If you hadn't brought attention to it, I would have just been like, oh,
Okay, it's because it was felt. I found the map of the radius. It was close. I was closer to the epicenter than you.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I felt it. But it's weird that Turtle didn't feel it, because he's like also around here.
Yeah, actually, especially if you felt it that strongly, he should have felt at least the wobble, not me.
No, I definitely. Nana thought it was Bruce that she was like kicking her bed, but she thought like he was getting like way too aggressive. So then like she was like, "What the hell is happening?" It looks like we don't have any information on exactly how strong it was. It says it like I can't find any information because it just happened. Yeah, it just says there's been reports of nearby shaking. That's all I can see right now. Wow! What a way to start stream! Nope, it actually happened. That we already have people reporting in.
Yeah, no, it happened.
That's insane. That's a way to check start stream. Holy shit! From what I could tell, it was probably like around a 2.0 earthquake, so not too big. I don't think like there's any like structural damage anywhere.
I doubt it.
But holy shit! I guess we're gonna. I want to clip that. Just like we start streaming, like, why is the world shaking? God does not approve of the fan fiction.
Rengoku going to the Avatar world was too strong.
It's blasphemy. Mass hysteria is a very real event. Shut up! Are you calling Nana hysterical? I'm gonna tell her. I'll tell her. Okay, let's get back to it. Where were we? The sun above him slowly changed shape and drifted closer and closer to the ground. The figure shifted into a figure resembling a female human, while retaining the shiny embrace of the sun it originally was. I've been waiting for you, Rengoku-san. My name is Agni, and I am what you may call a spirit. The world you are currently in is known as the spirit world, and is a place where any and all spirits come when they have departed from the physical world. The frown on Rengoku's face made itself known as he attempted to quickly process the words that Agni was telling him. Rengoku had long believed in such things as the spirit world and spirits themselves, thanks to the teaching of his mother, and the fact that he had been fighting literal demons for as long as he could remember. The fact that he was here, talking to one, wasn't the issue. It's the other part the spirit mentioned. It hurts, he thought while gripping his chest. Something's not right here. You are a very perceptive man, Rengoku-san. What is the last thing you remember before coming here? Agni asked, the spirit's face and tone turned somewhat serious, as Rengoku pondered her questions in his mind. The last thing... what I was doing before I got here. Racking his brain in an attempt to find an answer, flashes of a man with pink hair and 2 other swordsmen rushed into his head. I was fighting that man. Akaza was his name. He gave me a sign of mutual respect for our clash. Frowning, other details slowly crept into his head. Demons, demon slayers, and his family broke through his head, and more memories made themselves known. I was assigned to protect everyone that night and eliminate that upper moon demon before he could harm anyone else. And then... His eyes widened when he realized the answer to his question was staring at him in the face. If the spirit world was a place where things come after they've departed the physical realm, and he's currently standing here talking to a spirit, that meant he found the answer. Bro's fucking dead.
No.
I died protecting everyone on that train. Touching his chest again, he could feel a hole like scar sitting in the middle of his chest. I was impaled during my fight with Akaza, and my time as a Hashira came to an end. Smiling to himself, Rengoku remembered the last conversation he had with Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. and knew everything would be okay. Agni had seen many things during her lifetime as the flame spirit the Avatar world needed. He won! He won! God, that made me cry. But never in her day had she seen a man start smiling once they realize they've died and can never go back to the way things were. It didn't take you long to figure this out. How come you aren't more upset or bothered by the fact you were killed in battle? Normally one would have conflicting feelings about how their life ended. But instead your smile feels warm, without any hidden feelings behind it. Make no mistake about this. I'm not happy that I died. Not in the slightest. But I entrusted my will of fire to the generation after me once my job was completed. If our battle against the train demon was any indication of their potential, I'm sure they'll blow past my expectations and surpass me in a heartbeat, he boomed to Agni. Making eye contact with her, his entire demeanor beamed with sincerity, and she could tell he was very different from what she had originally thought. What a strange person you are, Rengoku-san, she said. Ah! I've been told my personality can be a bit boisterous, he replied back. That may be the understatement of the century, Agni chuckled. The air between the two seemed to grow warmer, almost instantly, as the aura Rengoku was currently giving off was hard to put into words, even for a spirit like her. Turning away from him and floating towards an empty flower bed, Agni stopped in place and turned back to him, knowing the thing she was about to ask him might be completely unfair. Rengoku-san, why do you think I've summoned you today? I have no idea. It must be
My
important.
fight's not done, is it?
I still gotta throw down. Bro. I have no idea. It must be important if such a powerful spirit summoned someone as lowly as I, he answered. Truthfully, this was the one answer he couldn't find any meaningful information to him. The spirit needs help. What kind of flame Hashio would he be if he didn't hear out what this person had to say? Humble as well as intuitive, I may have struck gold with this one. You aren't entirely wrong. However, I would definitely disagree with calling yourself lowly. Your willpower and tenacity is why I'm banking on helping turn the tide in this wretched history of terror the Fire Nation has plagued upon the world. I must be missing something because I have no idea what you said meant. The Fire Nation? What do you mean? Would you mind explaining what you meant by this? He said. And he had completely glossed over the fact that Rengoku wasn't from this world and was from another. Concepts such as the Fire Nation and the Bending World would probably be foreign to him, as he's never heard of them before now. I should have explained a few things before we continue further. The world we are in, spirit world aside, is entirely different from the world you originally inhabited. This world has what we call benders, and similar to how you mimic fire with your breathing techniques and blade, they can directly manipulate the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. Each element is divided into nations covering the world, and for centuries there was harmony. Peace is an unachievable concept, but harmony before the four elements is always key to keeping the balance of the spirit world and the physical world. Things continued down this steady path until the Fire Nation attacked, and believed that they were what was
Everything
best
changed when
when
the
the
Fire Nation
attacked. They decided that they knew what was best for the rest of the world, and began their reign of tyranny that has lasted an entire century. I get the overall gist of what you said, even if I will need heavy details about this Fire Nation. For now, would you continue? When the Fire Nation attacked, they were ruthless and left many burned to ash in their wake. The greed and hatred of the Fire Nation got to the point, at the start of their reign, they decided to completely erase an entire people from existence.
Deserved.
They are now... The air nomads were a group of airbenders who lived in the mountains away from conflict from the other three nations, and what happens to them remains the greatest atrocity I've ever borne witness to. In this world, there is one sole individual who holds the balance between the two realms, on his or her
I don't
shoulders.
know, Agni. You might see it worse when thanks to Korra, apparently.
And the person is called the Avatar. Until the Fire Nation attacks! No, I'm sorry, just I clicked back in to check on Foxtrose's reply.
No, I did see it. He sent it at the same time that we were saying that.
Their hatred would continue to fester, and once they had successfully eliminated the Earth nomads, The power balance shifted in their favor, and it's been like that ever since. Recently, they've been hunting down waterbenders and smaller tribes located in the south, and their numbers have dwindled at an alarming and depressing rate. Fire itself is dangerous when being wielded incorrectly, like it has been for the past 100 years. Picking up a single flower in her grasp and handing it to Rengoku. What do you believe fire is, Rengoku-san? Fire is, I guess if I had to describe it from my own experience, something more akin to constant movement and growth. If you aren't careful, it can harm not only you, but others around you as well. So whenever I use my technique around civilians, I'm always careful to contain it and harness it into something useful. Agni could see his eyes light up once again, recalling at how fire is supposed to make one feel. It's something she hasn't seen in ages, and she had no intention of stopping this young man from spilling his heart to her. My family developed flame breathing, which was derived from sun breathing. The basis for all breaths originate from the blazing sun itself, so the untapped potential of a small flame to develop into something great and hopeful is incredibly high. The inverse is also true. It can develop far too quickly, and in the wrong hands can bring death and devastation wherever it spreads. But that's why people like me are needed. I use my flames for justice, to shield people from any harm that may attempt to befall them. Placing a fist over his chest, his body felt extremely hot, yet he felt like he had to continue. I've always used my flames to burn away demons or turn an alley of destruction to cinder should they pose a big enough threat to innocent lives. From what I've heard, all these Fire Nation demons have accomplished is seeding more hate, more death, and more misery since they started down this dark path. Unacceptable! Flames themselves should never be used in a manner you have been informing me about. Anyone who abuses flames for their own twisted desire are no better than the demons I fought. Agni continued to smile as she listened to Rengoku's speech. She knew she made the correct choice. Rengoku-san, if you were from this world, how would you go about bringing change? People's perception of fire has been tarnished thanks to the tyranny of the Fire Nation over the past 100 years, Agni asked. For starters, these Fire Nation monsters have got to be dealt with. From everything I've heard from you, the world can never know peace again until they are subdued and their wicked hearts burned to ashes. I've always been confident in my abilities as the Flame Hashira, so it'd be no problem finding whoever is in charge and eliminating them should they refuse to stand down. Actually, there's a reason you are currently here with me instead of joining your other fallen comrades, Agni said. As you know, the world I'm from is in constant turmoil thanks to the Fire Lord, the one who rules and runs the Fire Nation, and the Fire Nation itself. Lives ruined, civilizations and people destroyed, and things people hold near and dear continue to be trampled on without a single thought. Rengoku-san, I'm asking. Placing both feet on the ground and getting into a kneeling position with her head on the ground as if to beg for something, Agni decided that this is the very least of this man's caliber deserved genuine respect, as he'd blown her expectations away without even really trying. No, I'm begging you. Please save my people from this dark path they've set themselves on. After the elimination of the air nomads, I've had to watch as countless atrocities continue to be orchestrated and acted out without care for anyone other than themselves. It's been so long since I've seen someone who possessed the same flame as an avatar, while not actually being one themselves. You, I truly believe, you can be the one who stands alongside the Avatar and help bring peace to this land, she finished. Agni was a spirit bowing down to a mere human, and for some reason, she saw nothing wrong with that. She'd sat back and watched for a century as everything crumbled around her, so if this man could shine a warming beacon of light that she herself couldn't, then who was she to be so prideful as to not ask this man's entire support? Taking a knee while placing a hand on her shoulder, Rengoku gave her another warm smile. Raise your head. There is no need for any of this, Agni-san. You brought me here for a reason. I doubt someone of your caliber would be doing any of this if you didn't believe I could help you in some way. Am I correct? If you really believe that I can help the people of this world, then who am I to deny you your dream? Agni could barely believe what she was hearing. It's like his aura isn't that of a human at all. No, it's more akin to a spirit. Rengoku-san, well, I'm happy you will oblige me in my fullest quest to save my people before it's too late. I want you to understand what this truly entails. Once I transport you into this world, you won't be able to leave again. That means until you complete your goal, or die trying, you won't be able to see your comrades again in the afterlife. This also includes your mother, who I know has been on your mind throughout our entire talk. Mother. His mind raced around with thoughts of her blissful smile and kind aura that had set his soul at ease, and because of this, his heart momentarily wavered. This world surely needs his help as a spirit such as Agni herself summoned him, thinking that he could make things right. On the other hand, he wanted above all else to see his mother smile once again. As a flame Hashira, Rengoku understood he had a duty above all else to keep people safe and protect the value of nature, of good against the antithesis of which was evil. Could he really just sit this one out and finally be selfish once in his life? He gave well over 100% in his fight with Akaza. Maybe, just maybe, he'd earned some well-deserved rest. After all, his time as a Hashira ended with his last dying breath in his previous world. Maybe things would be okay if he just... Agni was left extremely confused as, out of nowhere, Rengoku smacked both sides of his face, seemingly snapping himself out of whatever deep thought he was in. Of course not. Sorry about that. When you mentioned my mother, my thoughts and heart wavered ever so slightly. So I had to remind myself of what I'm supposed to be doing. A Hashira is supposed to be a pillar of strength, no matter what. Even if I'm in a foreign land and have no idea what's right or wrong, I'll carve out a path for myself and others with this flame of mine. Yet again, you go above my expectations, Rengoku-san. She chuckled again, standing up and meeting Rengoku eye to eye. She decided to fully inform him of a few key figures he would need to find and interact with during his journey if he wanted to change the world for the better. And line
How
break.
about that on?
Go ahead.
Was that the end of the first chapter?
No, we still have more.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but I am gonna give, like, a little break for my throat, too, and, like, so you can give any thoughts.
I love the liberties there, the author of Demon Slayer.
Oh, what do you mean?
Actually, the fire, water, and all that.
It's just
it's
visual
actually not
effects.
it's just visual effects. They're actually not doing it. It's all just actual swordplay. So already this shouldn't be happening because Rengoku doesn't actually have fire. So,
Yeah,
like,
no, fuck
I
that shit.
like that he's actually
Able to
that,
use
like,
fire.
they said, fuck that. Like, it doesn't make sense that it's just visual effects. So
It doesn't!
let's go with that.
So he does have
Um,
fire. I do like the idea of Agni being in this, because, like, we hear, like, them mention Agni in the actual series.
I was gonna say it's really funny that, like, we've only heard mentions of Acne in the actual series, but, like, there's already 2 fanfics that
That's just
that you
like,
show me
we're
that
gonna
both use
yoink.
Acne.
We're gonna yoink
Yeah.
this fictional character, we're gonna use it. It's okay, they didn't use it in the show, it's free real estate.
I mean, pretty much because you can't really screw up something that wasn't used in the show.
Exactly. Alrighty then. That was a line break because these chapters are kind of long. And we are now doing a POV switch to the Water Tribe.
Is it Katara time? Oh my god.
Best
Katara.
girl.
Move along. Move aside, Katara. Best boy Sokka's here.
Don't worry, Katara. I'll be fine, Hakoda stated. For the past hour, he'd been attempting to say goodbye to his kids and prepare for the long journey this war would inevitably take him on. Why do you have to go? Why can't you stay here with us? With me? She muttered, trying to wipe all the tears from her eyes. She knew for weeks that her father and his crew were ready to set sail again due to the war. But even knowing this, tried her hardest to convince him not to leave, to no avail. Katara, I know you don't want me to go, but I have to do this, he replied, kneeling down to her level. He wiped the tears from her face. You understand why I'm leaving, right? I'm making an extremely difficult decision and leaving you all unprotected. But we don't have a choice as of now. Until this war is over, we must continue to adapt and endure, and that's why we waterfolk have always excelled in. Smiling at her, he looked over at Sokka, who tried to put on the bravest face he possibly could, even if Hakoda could see the tears forming in his eyes. Placing his free hand on Sokka's shoulder. Sokka, while I'm gone, you and the other boys, no, you men, are in charge of things while we are away. That means that making sure everyone is fed, clothed, and protected among other things. Can you do that for me, son? You can count on me, Dad, he replied. That's my boy. Pulling both his son and daughter into a tight embrace, he soberly reminisced on the little functional time he'd had with them after Kaya's death. He hated leaving them when they were still so vulnerable mentally, but with how the war was going, he felt he had no choice, other than to fight if he wanted his home to remain in one piece. Attempting to prolong the hug as much as humanly possible, he saw his best friend in Bao start walking up to him, clearly touched with what he was seeing. Take as much time as you need, old friend. We won't be leaving until you are good and ready. So hug away, you big softy. I'm not soft, there's just something in my eye, Hakoda stated. Bato was always could spot when he was beginning to tear up, even when he tried his hardest to hide it. The teasing he suffered from their childhood because of it wasn't fun, by the way, if he might add. Standing up off the ground and looking at his children in the eye one last time, he looked at Bato with determination covering his face.
Bottle.
Bato. I'm good. The sooner we set sail, the better. Katara, Sokka, I will keep both of you in my mind throughout the entire trip, and I pray for the spirits to watch over you until I return. No matter what happens next, always remember that above all else, I will always love you. Nodding their heads and deepening the hug one last time before letting go, Hakoda and Bato made their way over to the... I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that.
Send me the word.
I'm gonna send him the word, because I can't pronounce this.
Call it a boat.
The boat. We're almost
I
one.
like it's a boat. I just don't know how to pronounce it either, and
Fair.
I'm pretty sure it's like the name of like the actual boat that the tribe they were
Right.
based on uses. So I
Uses.
don't want to mispronounce it.
Which is the ship hosting their very long journey into the sea, and began to board it when something caught their eye. What the? Hakoda stated. A glowing bright light cut through the sky like it was born from the heavens itself, making it hard to see what it was even supposed to be. The entire village looked up at the sky with many conflicting emotions running through them. Some were in awe at how beautiful it looked. Some were confused at why something like this showed up out of nowhere. The thoughts on the boat, however, were almost one and the same. Fire Nation, Bato answered, seemingly for everyone. Fear rippled through the boat, realizing that they'd been figured out, and now had to deal with another ambush. Hopefully they were more prepared than last time. Hakoda would never forgive himself if something happened to his children due to his inability to protect them. Everyone, change of plans. Ready for battle and follow me, Hakoda barked. We don't know what type of enemy we're dealing with, so assume they are Fire Nation and are out to ambush us again. We will hit them harder and faster than they can hit us in order to keep our village safe. Are we clear? Yes, sir, the men replied. Gearing up with extreme quickness and grabbing any and all weapons available, Hakoda and his men rushed off the boat and started their trek into the frozen tundra that hosted that huge flash of light a moment ago. Koda, what do you think it was? Bato asked. A signal flare, maybe? It didn't look like one I've ever seen. Might be a new toy their military has cooked up as part of their war efforts, Hakoda answered. Oh joy, more toys for those monsters to play with, Bato groaned. Picking up the pace even more, they noticed the light disappear above them in a flash, and the only thing left in its wake was a figure laying on the ground. Where did the light go? A soldier asked nervously. Everyone continued to check their surroundings, as fear of this being an ambush was extremely high. It just vanished, another said. Bato, can you see what is ahead of us? You have the best eyesight out of all of us, so try and make sure it's not a trap of some kind. Hakoda
What do you
ordered.
see with your elven
What
eyes?
do you see with your special eyes?
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
They're gonna do that. Sure thing. Focusing his eyes on the figure laying on the ground ahead, his eyes widened when he realized it wasn't a trap or toy as he'd originally thought. Koda, I think it's a person. What? Hakoda exclaimed. Everyone froze as the implications of a person lying in the ground unmoving signaled one of two things. Either one, they managed to capture someone from the village and decided to string them along on a wild goose chase, hoping to tear them apart from the village, or two, this was a trap, and the person on the ground wasn't really dead, and the moment he got near, he'd attack and most likely burn them. What does he look like? Do you think this is a trap? Signaling for his archers to raise their bows, he motioned for them to aim in case his friend's judgment deemed that was indeed an ambush of some sort. He doesn't look like a water tribe member, Koda, Bato replied. Hell, his hair is golden with red tips. Have you known any Fire Nation member to have hair like that? No, not at all. Is it safe to approach him? Do you see the Fire Nation anywhere near us? We have to be absolutely sure this isn't a trap, Bato. Nodding to his leader, Hakoda signaled for the men behind him to lower their weapons. Motioning forward while keeping their guard up somewhat, they reached the location where the strange man was lying.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
Oh God.
I forgot about this. He's naked, Hakoda gawked.
Oh God.
The man laid out in front of him was wearing absolutely nothing at all other than being slightly covered by a modified looking Haori with a flame motif. That didn't help convince anyone that he wasn't some Fire Nation ambush. Seems so. I don't even know what to make of this, Bato answered. Equally.
Wait. Agni let him keep his Hiyori, but not the Demon Slayer uniform.
Yes.
Sus AF.
I want to see him. He's a very handsome man. I know he's ripped. I want to see him.
Damn, Agni, I see having them human thoughts.
I see what your game is, girl. What I can be sure of is this isn't an ambush. The timing of it feels wrong compared to how they normally operate. And leaving one of their own out here naked alone is literal suicide, Bato added. What do you want to know, Koda? He looks somewhat Fire Nation even with his unique looking hair. And you know the village won't take kindly to an outsider who looks like him if we bring him back. You're not suggesting we just leave him here. I don't trust them either, Bato. But if we leave him out here, he'll freeze to death. We'd be no better than the enemy, Hakoda snapped. Calm down, Koda. My mistake. I'm just staying. Stay cautious around him, that's all. We aren't leaving him, and that's final. I want one of you to wrap him up as much cloth as you can until we can make it back to the village. If he's injured, we'll treat his wounds and see what information he has, and how he got here to begin with. Signaling for his men to begin, they started moving the Hiyori covering his body and froze when they noticed a huge crater-like scar covering his chest. It looked like someone had attempted to impale his chest with something small and compact. Tui La, what the hell is that on his chest? Hakoda asked. Looks like an old scar, sir.
I hate to interrupt, but I would like to hit you with according to the US Geological Survey, there was a 4.9 earthquake about 30 miles north of Toyota, Texas, in Reeves County, which was actually felt here.
So it was a 4.0?
4.9.
That is actually pretty big. That means that we just got like the little shocks of it.
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Damn. Well, I can tell Nana in the morning. When we get him back to the village, have the healer look into it first and foremost. I've got the feeling this man will have quite the story to tell when he wakes up, Bato interrupted. Finishing wrapping the strange man up and hoisting him over his shoulders, they started back to the village, still uneasy not only about having to prolong their journey to help out with the war, but whoever this strange man was or how he ended up naked in the frozen tundra. Things can never be simple for us water tribe folk, huh, Koda? Bato wondered. They almost never are, he groaned, continuing the trek back to the village they were supposed to leave behind. And that's the chapter.
I was really hoping Rengoku would just like instantly stand up and just be like, ha 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 ha.
I feel like my dude is going through something.
But I mean, fair, yeah. I guess he is going through something.
My dude just got brought back from the dead. He's gonna need a minute.
I mean, Agni, the fuck? Well,
Agni!
Agni.
I didn't know that was your game, girl!
Agni, what you doing?
I do remember. I remembered this part, but like I thought he was like butt-ass naked. I forgot he kept his Hyrule.
Like, it's really fucking funny because it's like he could have kept the uniform, and it's like the uniform would have had the hole in it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Did she take it away because the hole looked bad?
I was thinking, I was like, like you could still replace his outfit for an Avatar World outfit because the hole would kind of suck and not be effective in icy tundras. So like, what was the point of making him naked, especially if you're gonna keep him?
Like, if you're gonna
in the
get rid of the
Hiyori?
busted ass shirt, like at least let him keep his pants, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Also, I
Agni
put in
has
the
typed.
chat. He's totally gonna say he's from Japan or like
Yeah.
whatever district in Japan he's from whenever he gets asked, and I just think that's gonna be really funny because these guys are gonna be like,
Is that like a village, bro?
"The fuck are you on
The
about?"
fuck's in Japan? God. For crossover fanfics, the beginning is always my favorite because I love how they'd handle like the absurdity of somebody just getting yeeted into another world. It's one of my favorite things. Anyways, next chapter?
No.
What?
Can we get much higher?
Okay, you do not want me reading this high. I will not be able to read it. I will not get anywhere functional with that.
But I mean, maybe turtles.
Tortle. Tortle, if you're still here. Surge says take a puff.
Take 2 for good measure.
Take 2 for good measure. Take 2 to naked Rengoku.
Hey, you. Pause.
Pause. When traveling through worlds, most clothes don't survive even through the lower levels. Okay, I can take that. Maybe the Hyoris just... Wait, aren't there Hyoris are like supposed to be like pretty like sturdy?
It's the other way around. The uniform is what's reinforced. The Hiyori is just
well, maybe
decoration.
she just liked his Hiyori. She's like, he gotta keep his drip, bro. He gotta keep his drip. I'll have to sacrifice the rest of it just to keep his drip. She had her priorities straight. Emphasis on straight.
Wow. Wait, also, recalling the first Thor movie.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I had to let go of the smoke. I couldn't talk with all of it in there. Regarding the first Thor movie, he also loses all his clothes when he gets teleported to Earth, doesn't he?
Yeah!
You know, I'll buy the explanation of... I'll buy that explanation of clothes not surviving travel, except for, like, the Hiyori. I'm just gonna say Agni protected the Hiyori specifically because of fire.
Yeah, it's a special Hiyori. It's his drip, bro. His clothes were used to keep it safe. Like bundled up his Hiyori in his other clothes so that they got destroyed, but his Hiyori was fine.
Also, Turtle, I found out something really funny today. One Piece Bounty Rush, the mobile game, bro, is actually on fucking... I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that.
It's on Steam?
Put on my computer now. Yeah, it's on Steam.
Gotcha?
Yeah, and it's the one I send you that has 3 Utas. One of them being the Halloween Uta, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, fuck yeah. And hi, Ren! I might have to get the One Piece game on the PC, but we gotta catch up first. I'm slowly catching up.
We can actually play that game together, even though it's a mobile game.
Yeah. Yeah, Mao. Nice, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, next chapter, Chapter 2, keep your head up. Never look back. Wait, that's one of his quotes, ain't it?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna assume that a lot of these are gonna be based off
His quotes,
especially
yeah.
with the whole set your spirit ablaze.
Yeah, you're right. Back at the Southern Water Tribe, Hakoda and his men were busy making plans to set out for sea once again, and they'd missed the opportunity to leave thanks to Rengoku's sudden appearance. At the rate the waves are coming in, it'll be at least another week, maybe 2 before we can set sail, Hakoda, Bato said. The storm that's about to come in is going to be a nasty one. Groaning.
Suck on Katara. Yippee!
He's back! Who is this weirdo? Why'd you just bring a random naked man back home? You have something you want to tell us, Dad?
Well, besides that, I think they're mostly excited that he gets to stay.
He gets
with
to
them
stick around a bit longer, yeah. Groaning, Hakoda rubbed his temples, thinking about how thrown off track they were now because of the strange man from yesterday. Why does today of all days have to be the one where a huge storm pops up out of nowhere? Well, that's just fantastic, Bato. I'll have to send word to the Earth Kingdom General about our now late appearance and the potential prisoner that we have stored away in one of our healing tents. Any update on his condition? Makoto asked. Not even a stir, Bato replied. If we didn't check his pulse every couple of hours, you'd think he was dead. I did find it odd that he was left in the frozen tundra for who knows how long, and instead of being freezing cold like normal people, he was extremely warm. Hell, I'd even go as far as saying he felt hot to the touch. You know as well as I do what that would imply. A firebender being nursed back to health in our village, and so soon after the last raid. Don't finish that thought, Bato. Hakoda felt a headache stacking on top.
Sorry. It's because a new canon-wise got revealed, so I was reading him, and at first I was thinking, wow, this is kind of trash, but then I read The Inherited. Oh, wait, no, that's pretty good. Sorry about
You're
that.
good.
I just couldn't help laughing.
No, you're good. Don't finish that thought, Bato. Hakoda felt another headache stacking on top of the one he was already having, and it seemed like the spirits wanted to give him an extra hard time today. When he wakes up, hopefully we can get some sort of logical explanation as to why he was out there to begin with. If he's a firebender, then we deal with it accordingly. Speaking of him, how are we going to break the news to the others? Bato asked. When we brought him back, you told us to bundle him up tight so as to hide his face and make sure everyone involved with bringing him home kept a vow of confidentiality. Same for the healers who tended to him. It may not be many people who saw us bring it back, but people are asking questions, and eventually they're going to want answers, Koda. I trust your judgment 100%, but even you have to know you won't be able to hide something as big as him forever. I know.
Huh? Pause?
Yeah?
No, I meant to because they said something as big as him, phrasing.
You know, like, a big secret. Like, we just found, like, a fucking possible firebender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty big, alright.
He's pretty big. I know, Bato. I just need some time to figure out exactly what to tell everyone about why we haven't left yet and why I saved a potential firebender and brought him back to the village. He couldn't even finish the thought as he realized how horrible that sounded coming out of his mouth. Twila, that sounded bad. He groaned, pinching the brink of his nose in frustration. Indeed it did, Bato replied. The elders also want to know why we haven't left either, and you already know enough, though you're chief. The people deserve to know what happened and what we're doing. I say we just break the news to them and get it over with. It'll suck, but at least everyone will be able to take all their frustration out on you instead of me. Smirking at him, Bato placed a hand on his shoulder. That should be fun to deal with, eh, Koda? Screw you, Bato, he muttered. He loved Bato. He really did. He'd become a brother to him. But he'd be lying if he said he didn't want to feed him to the polar bear sharks right now. You're right. I probably should call a meeting to explain. A soldier he had placed on guard duty burst through the door, alarming both Bato and Hakoda. Sorry to interrupt, sir, but the prisoner is awake. They noticed his face falter when giving his answer. Has he said anything about the Fire Nation or being a spy sent to kill us? Well, no, sir, nothing like that. He's just eating, the soldier answered. Eating? Bato replied. Yes, and we need both of your help to deal with him. He's attracting quite the attention due to how loud he is. Standing up out of their chairs and rushing out of the room, Hakoda and Bato prayed that maybe this soldier was exaggerating a little when he mentioned how this man was attracting a crowd. He was not. Hakoda felt yet another migraine coming on.
Oh my!
Tasty! Tasty!
Yep,
Tasty!
there it is. Oh my!
Tasty! Is all that could be heard from the tent they were headed to, as it was loud enough that anyone within a close enough distance could hear it. You cannot be serious, Hakoda groaned. A large crowd had formed outside the tent, wondering who the hell could be that loud eating and why they hadn't heard his voice before. Pushing back the crowd, they were both greeted by a now awake Rengoku, sitting in his cot eating some fish and rice that had been left out for him. He was munching his bowl of food with an alarming eagerness that confused both Water Tribe men who now stood before him. Tasty! He explained once more, before putting his bowl down and greeting both Water Tribe men. Hello, you must be the leaders of the men who took care of me while I was asleep. You have my eternal gratitude for that, he said with a bow. Yeah, save your thanks for later, Fire Nation. We have more pressing matters at hand, Hakoda stated. Why are you here and how'd you end up naked in the middle of the frozen tundra? Now that this man had woken up and started a ruckus outside the tent, he knew he would need some answers out of him in order to stay in the people's good graces once the truth of who he brought back got out, and seeing how big a crowd was starting outside, it wouldn't be for much longer. Rengoku sat back and pondered to himself with a determined expression before relaxing his face and answering. I have no idea! The room paused when those words shot out of his mouth. Hakoda and Bato couldn't believe the bullshit they were hearing. You mean to tell me we found you completely naked with nothing but a Fire Nation-style Haori, You don't know how you ended up like that. I'm afraid so, Rengoku answered. Eternally, hour, he was a bit
Wait,
peeved.
does he not remember his talk with Agni?
I was about to go. Internally, however, he was a bit peeved at Agni for dropping him in the middle of nowhere naked and not much else to go on.
Okay. Kind of surprised that he didn't just blurt out that he was like sent there from Agni by Agni.
But we gotta remember, Agni is the Fire Nation spirit, bro. And like she
Exactly,
was, yeah.
but Rengoku doesn't exactly know that.
I mean, she explained it pretty well, I think.
She explained she was the spirit of fire, not specifically of the Fire Nation.
I got you. Do. Next thing is a little flashback. Just of his time with... Flashback. Just like do the woo 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 noises. So how come you want me to go to the Southern Water Tribe first? Rengoku asked. I think the best approach would be to head straight for the Fire Nation and deal with the current leader as soon as possible. Well, that's something even I'm not sure of. You see, as spirits we can see certain connections a person may share with another. From what I can see, you have 2 connections here that you must make before being able to leave without having to backtrack, Agni said. A man named Hakoda and another. Find those 2, and you decide what to do from that point onward. Afterward, we'll meet again.
The other is Sokka.
The other? Who the fuck is the other? Afterwards, we'll meet again to discuss your next group of individuals you need to reach and interact with. Alright, if that's the information
I hope
you
Bumi's
can
one of
extend.
them. I honestly really want to see Rengoku and Bumi interacting.
Honestly, they both are very loud. I think it'd be hilarious. Alright, if that's all the information you can extend, then I'll be right with just this much. I've tracked down demons with less info than that on what you've given me, so I should be fine. Although, I'm curious about something, Agni. What's that? She asked. How am I gonna get here? Will it be more like teleportation or reincarnation? Rengoku had dealt with many unique demon techniques, but rarely had he dealt with one that used teleportation of some kind. Allow me to worry about that, Rengoku-san. The only thing I need you to focus on is staying warm throughout the transfer. Because I'm transferring you back to the physical realm with a restored body. You might not stay conscious through the entire process. It's extremely cold in the South Pole, so I suggest using your breath of flame until you can regain consciousness. Your technique will adapt to its new environment. How that works is going to be up to you, Rengoku-san. What I can say is that from what you've demonstrated to me, your sword forms may end up on an entirely different level than from before. The sword you're using, it can't come along with you right now. Why not? He asked. This blade has been with me since the very beginning. It was a gift from my father. I won't part with it now. Rengoku had a complicated relationship with his father. Wouldn't deny that. But when he first stepped into the role of a demon slayer, he was gifted his blade by his father before he stepped down into a depressive abyss. Sure, it was broken in his last fight with Akaza, but he wouldn't make the same mistake twice. Rengoku-san, I understand your feelings. But the separation from you and your blade will only be temporary, until I am able to bless your blade so it may withstand the elements of this world. She explained. It will find its way back to you when you need it most. He could understand why she would need his blade, as what she said made sense. He just disliked the thought of being away from his Nichiren blade. If he had to make do without it for a few moments, he'll push forward without it. Taking off the sword along with its scabbard it was contained in, he handed it to Agni. I'll admit, I genuinely hate parting with my weapon, but make no mistake, I can and will save lives without it. I was able to bless your Hiyori, so when the time comes, it should come in handy. Agni informed. There may come a time when you have to choose between yourself and another. My job is to eliminate the potential need for that, so use it wisely, until your sword is returned to you. Those are 2 different things.
Very different things.
Nodding to her, Rengoku saw no reason to stay any longer. I'm ready to go. Making her way over to Rengoku, she smiled at him one last time, before placing her hand over his heart. He felt energies running through him, and a familiar face standing behind Agni he could just barely make out. The person made his heart flutter in sadness. She was standing behind Agni and smiling, mouthing something he couldn't hear, but desperately wanted to know. Mother?
This is Mom.
It's his mom, yeah. What is that?
Ah, uh, 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 what? What do you mean? What is that?
What is that sound?
What sound?
I hear talking in the background.
There's no talking in the background.
Doubt. I don't think it'd be wise to tell them I come from a world unlike their own. I doubt that'd be the best way to earn their trust like I need anyways. You thought?
No, he absolutely should. Go sicko mode, Rengoku.
Go sicko mode. That's a load of bullcrap, Bato shouted. Listen, I don't know what sort of games you're playing, kid, but you need to tell us everything you know about the Fire Nation, what they're plotting, or else things may not stay so cordial between us. Kid? Sorry, you must be mistaken. Do I look at me like a mere child? Bato, and this here is Hakoda, the chief of the Southern Water Tribe, Bato said. Hearing Hakoda's name lit up his expression, making both men tense in anticipation for whatever this spy was planning. So to their surprise, when he jumped out of bed and stood face to face with Hakoda, they didn't know what to expect. So you're the one I need to meet with. My name is Kyojuro Rengoku, and I am the Flame Hashira. Flame? So you're a firebender? Hakoda shouted, pulling out a blade and shoving it near his throat. He wavered when he noticed the smile that Rengoku had plastered on his face. Never wavered, and instead he continued on with his speech. I guess I am what you may call a firebender, but I have no association with that nation of demons. You must understand what a Flame Hashira is. So if you'll put down your weapon, I'll gladly explain to you, and anything else I may know, Hakoda. Rengoku shot back. Don't listen to Makoto, he's probably already planning his escape route, Bato retorted. Frowning at the man to his right, Bato. These Fire Nation demons have really done a number on you people, haven't they? Rengoku asked. To think someone could be this afraid of someone who wields fire is just not right. Fire is only meant to destroy. It's good for absolutely nothing else but death and destruction. You people raiding our villages 3 years ago should have made that point abundantly clear, Bato shouted. You people killed so many of us, the chief's wife included, and for what? Because they're waterbenders? That's the best reason you had for massacring so many innocent people? Is everything alright? We heard shouting, a soldier asked, bursting through the doors. Rengoku was the first to speak. No, everything is alright. We're just having a discussion, and things got a little heated. Leave us until things get settled, if you don't mind. Have you lost your mind? Leave us, Hakoda said calmly. The man was strange, as he should have shown some signs of aggression by now. He just let his knife stay near his throat, and wasn't even attempting to bend or attack the both of them. But sir, you heard the chief. Don't make him repeat himself, Bato interjected. Bowing and leaving the tent, Hakoda could clearly see the crowd had witnessed the entire argument, and knew there was no use hiding him any longer. Removing his blade from near his throat, he stayed cautious and motioned for Bato to get the rope. Bato, tie him up. It seems like our little audience outside has attracted some unwanted attention. The tribe will meet in the next hour to determine what to do with this man, depending on what he has to say. Of course things get messy for us, Hakoda murmured. Walking over to Rengoku and tying his hands up, Bato motioned for him to follow him, and dragged him outside the tent where the now angry mob resided. Rengoku was brought outside, and immediately the atmosphere shifted the moment his appearance was made known. Many already had an inherent fear of the Fire Nation, but one being in the village would mean no one was safe until the threat was neutralized. What the hell is he doing here? Someone shouted. Get him out of here, he'll kill us all! Another yelled. Monster! A woman screamed. We should get rid of him for even being here! A man roared. Rengoku had a hard time hearing all the comments and insults being thrown his way, due to there being so many all at once. A little girl who was wearing a small blue parka had done some sort of movement, and a small stream of water was aiming in his direction. He could see her emotions were in turmoil, and tears were slowly filling her eyes, daring themselves to fall. With his experience, he could very clearly dodge her little attack and continue on calmly to his destination. But
he took it like a man.
He took it like a man. But he could sense something about her, his presence struck a chord with her, and he figured if her hitting him with this small stream of water made her heart feel somewhat at ease, he would oblige. Smacking him clear in the face with the stream of water, the little girl was quickly grabbed by her brother. You aren't welcome here! The little girl shouted at Rengoku, clearly upset. Katara! Hakoda boomed. What on earth are you doing? He walked over and grabbed her by the shoulders and shook her just a little, hoping to break through. How could you bring him here? Don't you remember what these monsters did to Mom? All these people know is how to ruin and kill, and you... Seeing this little girl, almost trembling with anger and hurt, filled Rengoku's heart with sadness. He couldn't help himself but to try and put her mind at ease while offering his condolences. I don't know who you are, but I offer you my deepest condolences for your loss. You seem to be in great pain with me just being here, and for that I apologize as well. He had finished with a deep bow. Raising his head, he gave a warm smile towards Katara before continuing on towards his destination. Katara couldn't believe the nerve of this man to think he could be part of the Fire Nation and waltz into her home like nothing happened. Stop right there, Hakoda, one of the village elders interrupted. Where are you taking this man to begin with? I'm bringing him somewhere where we can determine what to do with him before things get any more out of hand. He's too dangerous to be left alone for extended periods of time. We need to determine what to do with him, and fast. Why will I not determine that right here, right now, in front of us? Don't you think as chief of the tribe, we deserve that much, Hakoda? Hakoda looked around and saw that during Katara's outburst, even more villagers had shown up to see what was happening. He didn't like it. But as chief, he didn't have any other choice now but to give this man a trial in front of his people. Whether or not he's found innocent or guilty of crimes not yet known will be determined now rather than later. If that's what the people want, then I see no problem with it happening in the open. Any complaints? Hakoda asked, looking at the crowd. None at all, Hakoda, Rengoku replied. Turning around, he noticed how completely unbothered this man was with his situation, and continued to confuse Hakoda to no end. Why was he so energetic when he was facing a group of people who wanted to kill him just for being him? It just doesn't make sense. I truly mean none of you harm, and if this open trial allows me to communicate that with you, then I think it's a great idea. Bringing Rengoku to a larger area where people could congregate and file in while himself was brought in the forefront and was now standing in front of everyone, he looked at the crowd in front of him, and there wasn't a single face in the crowd that seemed like they were going to give a fair shake with this trial. No matter, Hashirama must adore everything thrown at them, and this shall be no different, he thought. I'll show these people the true meaning of fire, and how it's been mistreated for the past 100 years. And I'm going to take a little break to take a sip of Dwink.
Go for it, go for it.
Yoink. Of course, he linked the Fire Nation to a demon. I'd not call fire breath fire bending. Ask Uncle Iroh. Turtle has a point there.
Honestly, yeah, they should just ask Uncle Iroh.
Yeah, Uncle Iroh, who... What period? He would have been a good guy by now, right? Because this is like maybe 3 years before the main story.
Isn't this like 5 years before the main story?
It's around there.
Katara
It's around there.
And...
Yeah,
they're way younger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Regardless, I do think Iroh would have already been like White Lotus, at least.
Because he lost his son, I think it was like 20 years ago. It's like been a long ass time since he lost his son, and that like changed his whole worldview.
Yeah, so no, for sure.
I got
For sure
some
he's
blind.
good. So technically he could like just tell them like, hell yeah. He's not Fire Nation. I don't know.
I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know this guy. Have you ever seen a blonde firebender? What the fuck is blonde? That's true. There are like no blonde.
Is there anybody blonde in Avatar now that I think about it?
No. The only thing we got is people who dye their hair in Korra. There are no blonde people in Avatar.
Let's go.
White people aren't real.
F white people.
All right, let's that was a little break. Let's go back. Brothers and sisters, very recently we have stumbled upon an enemy in our midst who claims he can't remember how he got here. He also claims to harbor any feelings or ill intent of our small tribe, even as he insisted on being a
Bleached by
firebender.
the moon spirits.
Bleached by the moon spirit. That's more white though. I feel like this would be closer to like bleached by the sun, you know? Because like that's like technically how blonde started.
Bleached by acne.
I don't think I could consider any breathing technique to be bending. I mean, as far as Demon Slayer goes, that's fair. But the writer took liberties.
I did make the point.
Yeah.
I was about to say I just made the point earlier that none of the breathing techniques are even like powers. Like they're not actively summoning water dragons and shit like that. It's just swordplay, and everything else is just flashy effects for the readers, which I call bullshit. Yeah.
This version, they do have fucking firepower, which I think is more accurate. Because, like, what do you mean the effects in Demon Slayer aren't real? That's bullshit.
There's literally moments where like they like genuinely are able to stop a fall or that because they summoned a waterfall.
It's cope. There could
Anyway,
be
proceed.
There could be many other factors at play here, but above any and all of that, I have a responsibility to keep you all safe from harm. That's the entire reason we were headed out to fight in the war. His eyes met his children. Hakoda saw them both look away from him, briefly showing they were still hurt by his decision. It pained him to know he would have to leave them for real once the storm subsided. But at least the time was extended, even if for a bit longer. We found this man completely naked. Why are you airing him out like that, bro? Why do you gotta tell everybody?
Because, I mean, it kind of makes him look a bit more innocent. When
Yeah,
you're
that's
thinking
fair. It
about
looks like he got ditched. Even if he was Fire Nation, it looks like he got his ass ditched. Alone in the frozen tundra outside our village, and he would have surely frozen to death had we not intervened. I ask you all to come together with me and figure out how to deal with this man who we know nothing about to determine a fitting solution to the problem he now presents us. Loud outbursts, ranging from exile to death, broke through the crowd like wildfire. Nobody wanted anything to do with this man, and would sure as heck make it known. After all, who's to say he's not plotting on eliminating them all once they let their guard down? Settle down, people, Hakoda ordered. He could barely hear himself think with how loud everyone was being. One at a time, with some sort of solution would be nice. I say we kill him and be done with it, hear his soldier answer. Fire Nation scum don't deserve to live after what they've done to us. Agreements with the statement rippled through the crowd like water in a raging tsunami. Why is this even a debate? A woman said. These people are responsible for my son and my husband. She trailed off, covering her face with tears and being consoled by another villager. Rengoku frowned again, seeing the woman react to him like this. How awful, with how they are reacting to me. The pain everyone must have gone through to get to this point is unimaginable, he thought. I don't even recognize them after finding their bodies in our house after the raid, she sobbed. My son was only 11. She struggled to put her sorrows into words, so instead she rushed up towards Rengoku and grabbed him by the collar. He was taller than her, so she was forced to look up at him while he had to look down at her. Rengoku didn't miss the symbolism in this, as the Fire Nation had looked down upon the rest of the world, and now he was here, being forced to stare down a mother in her grief. He would oblige this woman in her time of need, no matter what she may require of him. Why did my child have to die? He was so young, and they were brutal in taking his life along with my husband. He didn't do anything wrong. All he did was try to protect our home from you monsters. Rengoku said nothing as he continued to let the woman air out her grievances to him. He wouldn't dare interrupt her. She'd been through enough. I hate you and all of your people until the day I die, she sobbed while gripping his collar even tighter than before. I hope you're executed the same manner your people did to my family. I hope your spirit becomes lost and never knows peace. I hope. She tried to find more words to express how upset she was. But as more tears continued to fall, her words became stuck in her throat, and she could no longer do much else but cry. Kishna, you can let go of him now, Bato assured. We won't let these monsters hurt anyone else. The water tribe knew how hard the losses hit once the smoke had settled, and the only thing left in its wake were dead bodies of family and friends. Usually one would stop and attempt to interfere with the trial in this manner, but Kishna had lost her entire world during the raids. Although not normally acceptable, rules could and would be broken to alleviate grief, even if it was allowed by allowing the person hurting to release it in doses such as this. But his people took everything from me, she barely sobbed out. Rengoku had an expression on his face as if he was thinking of something that caused him great conflict. He knew he wouldn't be able to stand by and witness this woman hurting without reaching out much longer. Consequences be damned. I have nothing left but hatred and sadness. They took every other thing away from me. If hating me keeps you going when you think all hope is lost, then use that, Rengoku began. If hitting me physically allows you a moment's reprieve from the grief you're feeling, then that's also okay. If seeing me in constant turmoil and agony makes you feel even emotions such as happiness, I hope it can bring you momentary peace. What are you? I won't lie to you and say I understand what you're going through, as I've only ever lost my mother, so I won't belittle your feelings and trample over what you've shown me today. The Fire Nation has burned and scorched so many lives that, even if I worked tirelessly for the rest of my life, I still wouldn't even come close to 1/10 of the damage they've caused. Even so, that's exactly why I can't afford to die here just yet. I have many wrongs to right in this world and to become a pillar of strength, so the next generations won't have to continuously adore like you did. turning his head to Akoda. A moment ago, you looked at me with hatred and fear in your eyes when I announced that I was the Flame Hashira. I believe you misunderstood what that entailed. So allow me to explain while I have a captive audience. A Hashira means one who is a pillar of strength, and the fact that I use my flames to protect the things I hold near and dear means nothing to dispute this. As long as the fire that resides within my heart is still burning bright, then no matter what I have to endure, I won't stand by and allow others to get hurt because of demons like them. That spark has been in me ever since I went down this path, and even with the entire world against me, I'll do what I can to alleviate the grief they've caused. Even if it won't amount much in the end.
Even if the whole world's my enemy.
I will
I'll
fight
keep
like I always
fighting.
have. When you bore your heart. No, when you bore your soul to me just now about how lost you have been. I couldn't stop myself from reaching out. He gave her a warm smile that shone like the sun itself and sent a rush of complex feelings down her entire being. His smile. It's the same one they used to give me. She wondered out loud. What's your name? She asked while loosening the grip she had on his collar. I am the...
Oh, she was still holding on
She
to
was
him
still
the whole
holding on.
time.
She was like grabbing him. I am the Flame
Wild.
Hashira. Hyonjuro Ron... Fucking, I did not say that right.
Hyojiro Rengoku.
Hyojuro Rengoku, he responded. As long as I am here, my flames won't be used to harm the innocent. Instead, will be used as they always have been. The strong should use their strength in order to protect those who aren't strong enough to do it themselves. Raising his head from looking down at her and focusing on the crowd in front of him, they saw his face light up in excitement. This goes not only for her, but everyone else who has ever felt the unfair wrath of the Fire Nation demons and their unjust usage of flames. Set your heart ablaze. Don't allow them to continue to... Don't allow them to continue to trample over your hearts and everything you hold dear. As long as you allow it to happen, then the results in heartbreak will never change, only repeat. And if you manage to grit your teeth long enough and still see no hope or salvation at the end of it all, then you can depend on me. As a Hashira, I'll stand up for those who can no longer do it themselves. I'll shield anyone who can no longer raise their arms to defend themselves from the blows. I'll encourage and give hope to any in need after the feelings of despair and hopelessness rears its ugly head. The Water Tribe crowd was frozen, and even enthralled with what this man was spouting. It was Fire Nation, right? People from that place weren't supposed to talk and sound like this. As long as I have breath in my body, I will use everything I can to keep you all safe.
Title drop, roll credits.
Title drop, roll credits! No. He said hard
that
to
again.
place. He said hard to place. That's title set your spirit ablaze. There's difference.
Wow, this place is fantastic. Say that again.
Say that again.
God, I fucking hate that. I never watched that movie, but I can't believe that's a genuine scene. Who the fuck thought that was good writing?
I don't know. Making eye contact with Kishna, he raised his hands that were tied together and wiped the tears from her cheeks before looking back to the crowd. That's a promise from me to anyone who needs to hear it, he exclaimed with his face and stature lighting up once again. Even in a strange new world, he would never be able to stand by while fire was being used in this way. He will not stand for it any longer. I believe I said my piece on the matter, Hakoda. I'll accept whatever judgment you deem satisfactory. But please keep this in mind. Fire itself isn't supposed to be used as a tool for destruction. Flames are meant to give life to all who need it and comfort those who are within its grasp. Killing me here and now will only continue the cycle of ruthless firebenders and all the people who fear them. If you give me the chance, even just a little, I'll show you how flames are truly meant to be used instead of how they've been for the past 100 years. Bowing to the crowd as a sign that he had said all he was going to say, he lifted his head and retained the same beaming expression of hope that had been plastered across his face ever since he'd woken up. Never in a million years had Kokoda seen a firebender with such a way of words. It was almost moving if you had to put it into words. Alright, Kishna, please move away from him. I've made my mind on the situation. She hesitated against her chief's orders.
You're going to war with me.
I'm taking you to war, bro. You're coming with us. Come on. Put your money where your mouth is.
If what you say is true, then you're coming with us, bro.
Put your money where your mouth is, bro. Hold up. I'm trying to eat my flan. Ow.
How dare you?
It's
Is
like...
it at least choco flan?
No, it's like Walmart flan, so it's not very good. But I just needed something like creamy for my throat since I was going to be talking so much.
Fair enough.
Ren, your flan was much better. She hesitated against her chief's orders and gazed upon the man who held the same smile as her fallen husband and son. She raised her hands to cup his face, attempting to gauge her feelings of the strange man. Feeling his skin, it felt warm to the touch, and above all else, he didn't feel like the firebender she'd had the displeasure of coming into contact with. She had to use one word to describe Rengoku. It would have to be kind, she said. Move away from the ash maker, Kishna, someone in the crowd said. He and his people are snakes and will slither alongside their bellies like fools in order to get what they want.
Ashmaker.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like a slur for them.
That's why he laughed.
For firebenders.
It reminds me a lot of my favorite Mexican slur.
Oh god. I can't be sure that this man won't betray us in the future if we allowed him to live, she stared it. I'll be the first one to admit, they've used tactics in the past like this to get through people's defenses. See, that's why you should move aside so we can. But when I felt him just now, nothing about him screamed that he was lying. The only times I felt something like that from a person was with my husband and son. What? Bato interjected. What are you saying, Kishna? I'm telling you what I feel, Bato, and what I feel from him is the same kind of warmth I felt from them. Turning back to Rengoku. Make no mistake, Rengoku. I'll still hate you and everything your people represent until my time on this planet comes to an end. Some things of the world can't be forgiven, no matter how hard you try, she said. Rengoku could see her eyes conflict with what was coming out of her mouth, but felt no need to stop her. I vote to not kill him, she said loudly for everyone to hear. The only reason I want you alive is to understand why you have the same smile as them. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you so much, Kishna. I assure you that I will not make your decision one you end up regretting, Rengoku replied. She turned away from him and walked back to the crowd, awaiting the final decision from Hakoda. As she was one of the worst hit during the raids, she knew her voice mattered more than others, but at the same time, only the chief could make the final call. He may have fooled Kishna, but he won't fool me, another yelled. The man in question was aged and clearly battle-hardened, as he had semi-visual burn scar on his left neck that Rengoku could barely make out due to his parka. Ashmakers are nothing but trouble, and would be wise to heed my warning. Kill him or this man will be nothing but devastation and ruins for us all. Pondru, calm yourself now, Hakoda ordered. We already understand how you feel about the situation. Just because he fooled her into making a momentary error does not mean we all share the same sentiments, Chief. He's a firebender, and I say an eye for an eye is the best course of action for them. They don't play fair, so why should we? Murmurs moved through the crowd, agreeing somewhat with what he was saying. Just because this woman is letting her feelings of her dead family get the better of her doesn't mean we should take the fall for her stupidity. Okay, brutal, bro. Take that back. They looked forward and noticed a small vein near the top of Rengoku's face and saw his expression darken. You have no right to tell someone what they feel is stupid, even if they may be wrong about their own feelings. Maybe what you said is true and her feeling for her loved one is clouding her judgment, and to that I say, who cares? As long as you make a decision you can live with, even when it's wrong, then what more can you ask from a person? However, outright insulting someone for having an opinion different from your own is horrible and makes you no better than those Fire Nation demons. Why, you little... That's enough, Ponru. I've made a decision. I require no more input from anyone else, Hakoda ordered. Ponru knew that the person was... Blech! Ponru knew that the person this was most... What the fuck?
Are you good?
Am I having an aneurysm? What the fuck is that? Ponru knew that the person this was most... Okay, they made a grammatical error.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they're trying to say, like, Ponru was like, yeah, this is that he's telling me to shut up. Shh. Looking around and seeing no one else attempt to interrupt, Hakoda reasoned it was time to make his decision known. I don't trust him more than any of you. But I'd be lying if I said his words to Kishna didn't sway my judgment a bit. Until the storm subsides in 2 weeks, he'll be locked in a cell designed to harbor firebenders. And after that, he'll ride out to us to sea, and we'll determine whether to hand him over to the Earth Kingdom General, or allow him to leave peacefully on his own once we land. It's not a decision that many will like, but it's one I'm making as chief. Bato, escort this man to his cell. Nodding to his cell, Rengoku was swiftly moved through the crowd and was headed for a straight shot for his new home for the time being. Even as he being rounded up by Bato and a fuse of insults were being hurled his way, the kind and proud expression he had never left his face, a detail that didn't go unnoticed by certain members of the crowd. As the trial ended as swiftly as it started, the Water Tribe didn't understand how this day would inevitably shape the future, and anyone else tied to them. They would soon come to understand what Rengoku's burning passion entailed, as, unbeknownst to them, they weren't the only ones who saw the beam of light earlier. Aboard a Fire Nation ship drifting along the currents, a certain
No.
general... What?
Okay. General. I was like, there's no, that wouldn't make sense.
Baby
timeline
Zuko!
wise. I was like, there's no way it's Zuko.
No. The certain general is smiling at the thought of getting his hands on even more power should a little exertion
Zao.
pay off.
It's fucking Zao.
You all saw that light show yesterday, right? The spirits themselves are guiding me to my destiny, and I'd be fool not to take them up on their offer. Change course, as we are no longer headed back to Lord Ozai to report this. Instead, we're going straight to the... what was that? Ostrich horse's mouth, to see just what the hell that was. Barking orders at his crew, the direction was now changed, and for better or worse, he'd run into the man who would do his best to defy concepts such as destiny and fate themselves if it meant keeping people safe. Southern Water Tribe. I cannot wait to meet you. Zhao grinned. You bunch of savages. You will not continue to stand in the way of my destiny any longer. That'll be one promise I intend to keep. And with that, their crash course for the Southern Water Tribe was in motion, and saw no intention to stop until the inevitable clash between the two of them was upon them. And chapter 2.
How your throat being?
It's good. I have a feeling he got poked by a stick. Move it!
Who, Rengoku?
Yeah, that's
Rengoku
what
probably
Foxtrot
did
said.
get, but he probably did get poked by a stick.
Partly by that old dude's cane. Just nudge him over, like, move it! And he's like, okay!
I really like the way that they are writing Rengoku.
It's Rengoku!
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they did a very good job on, like, a lot of their characterizations in this fic. That grammatical error threw me for a loop, though. I was like, am I?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think everyone noticed that you were fucking struggling there.
It, like, let me copy and paste the exact, so you could see how weird it was. Like,
Yeah, I want
spelled.
to see this.
Let me show you just how weird.
Person's. Or Honryu knew that the person this was most directed at was him.
It read differently. I edited it.
But why did you edit it? I thought you were gonna send me the.
I thought I did, because, like, I rewrote it so I could read it better. I'm sorry, I sent you the wrong one.
Or is this uni just editing it to look worse?
No, I think that they just switched a few words. I copied and pasted the right one now.
Honru then knew that person this was directed at was him.
I was having...
Honru then knew.
I definitely think their brain got ahead. Are you reading this from a docx file? Yes. I am reading it from the actual website, actually. But, FF uses docx files. Yeah.
You are a .x file.
What?
Yep, you heard me.
What? Does that
You heard me.
mean? Huh?
That's for me to know.
Okay. Okay, next chapter. How we liking it, boys? How are we enjoying this?
Oh, you were genuinely asking.
Yeah, I was genuinely asking.
I already said I've been really enjoying it.
I'm
a
glad.
5.5.
I'm glad. I told you. I was joking with No, it doesn't. I was joking with Serge before we started that one of these days I'm just gonna throw in like an absolute dog shit fanfic, and he's like, "It's not today, is it?" And I'm like, "It's not today. It's not today."
Today.
It's not today. And then like it just like the writing goes absolutely downhill. Like it starts like being like,
God,
oh
I'd be
god.
so disappointed.
There's this. I'm just gonna take like a quick tangent, just to, like let my eyes rest from reading the doc. There's
No.
this one fic that I really really like, but my god, they're I can tell they're not like their writing is like very flowery, but in a repetitive sense.
Huh? Flowery.
They use a lot of words to describe a simple thing.
Oh God, Moby Dick.
Yeah. And like the thing is like it's a really good fic, but like your brain does have to kind of like filter some of it out just to get through it, which is
That
not
was
great.
me in high school reading
Yeah.
Moby Dick.
Yeah, it's a really good fic sadly, but they repeat like our dark-haired protagonist. They repeat that like so often like shit like that. Or a young Cambrian or like they repeat so many things. I'm just like I get who this character is. You can just call him Deku. Let's make everyone's lives easier here. You don't have to give him like a million epithets. It's a good fic.
The young brave Deku.
It's like stuff like that, but they don't use his name. Like they'll like use like different words, like or like you know like our dark-haired protagonist, our like bright-eyed protagonist, and I'm like
It feels that that person learned how to write by making sure they always met the fucking
word limit.
the word limit. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that like they're not a native English speaker, so they think that they're like adding stuff to it where like it just kind of becomes repetitive. Like I said, their concepts are really good and their dialogue is really solid. They're very good at dialogue. That is one fic I would like to do, but because of the repetitive nature, it'd be kind of like a drag.
It
Which is
sounds like a
unfortunate.
drag.
There's another one that's similar, but like in the opposite problem. It's another My Hero Academia fic, actually, which is very funny. It's an Elden Ring My Hero Academia fic, where they do the opposites. And like they have like very little prose. Prose is basically just the descriptions of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they have very little prose and like they get through things like so quickly and I'm just like, okay, let me breathe. Another really good fic. Melania gets to watch TV for a while and she likes television.
What the fuck?
Okay, back to fic. Elden Ring and MHA. Yeah, basically, Izuku got yeeted into Elden Ring right before he went to UA, and he has trauma from being in Elden Ring, and he comes back like a badass, and he's like, oh shit, wait, I'm a little OP for these people now. I have like a giant ass sword. This might be like a not hero legal.
He just needs to dole it out.
He accidentally murders 2 people the second he gets back to UA.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, whoops, used a little bit too much force there. Because he was like expecting like tough character, like the tough enemies from Elden Ring. He's like, okay, I'm ready to cut. He's like, oh, I didn't need to use that much force. Oh no. It was great. Okay, wait. Why did I lose tracking? Why did my face die?
Because you deserved it.
Why did I deserve it? What did I do?
You did stuff.
What did I do? I'm baby.
No, you're not.
I'm not baby. I'm not baby at all. Let me try and fix my face. My face is not working, and I am just stuck at this screen. Look, this is just the face I'm stuck at, guys. You guys love my beautiful face, right? When I'm stuck in that face. I don't know what happened. Let me try and fix this really quick, because it's bothering me.
No, you're fine.
Control delete. Maybe if I task manager this shit. Get the boys out. The task manager out.
Uni's about to disappear.
No, it's V-Bridger that died.
Oh.
Which, I don't know why. Because V-Bridger, fun VTuber fact, I guess, for you guys to learn how shit works. V-Bridger is a program that lets me stream from my iPad. Sometimes I think Surge's brain is equal to a small peanut. Yeah, you're right. So the way that vBridger works is that it goes through your iPad or iPhone to your computer through Wi-Fi. And this lets you have better tracking overall because it's able to capture more things. Because unfortunately, Apple has some of the best face tracking in the business right now.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah. And what this means is, did my freaking, let me check something on my iPad. iPad list. No, that is correct. So what it does is it goes through your IP address in order to go ahead and show these things. So from vBridger, it then moves from your vBridger program to VTube Studio. So that's why if one of those things in the chain breaks, the whole chain breaks. As far as I can tell, it was vBridger that died. Not sure why, though.
Foxtrot said restart your iPad.
That's a good idea. Let me do that.
Oh hell yeah, this is almost done downloading.
Oh god, what are you downloading?
I'm surprised you. So like, how much were you able to hear for when the audio started?
It was
I
like
don't understand
kids
what it said.
laughing.
It was Luffy.
It was Luffy, I was right! Connect to iPhone. Why are you not connecting to iPhone? Why are you being a bitch? It's not my iPad. It's vBridger for some reason.
Fuck you, B Bridger.
vBridger.
Oh.
I don't pay for this shit. How are the Tinkatongues, Surge?
Oh god.
That's
I was
what
not
Ren just asked.
I would no, I saw the message. I was not expecting that, alright? I liked how the armors were very Monster Hunter inspired. I didn't like how much she was.
Do. Damn. It goes through your local. Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay, I don't want Siri. Shut up, Siri. Okay, you know what?
Siri. I have been seeing her Steam notifications for her going live to both Bridger and VTube Studio, so she's been resetting them. Don't worry.
Okay, it's restarting. We shall see. While it is restarting, I am going to keep reading. You guys can just look at my funny little face.
No.
Okay, fine. I got rid of my funny little face. My funny little face is gone. No, it's blank right now while I'm trying to fix this. I shall
just
fix
me in
on
this forest.
by myself.
These are Wisterias, right? Yeah, these are Wisterias.
All by yours. Wait, do you mean the picture that I have in the background?
Yeah, this is the Wisterias, no?
Yeah. Remember, they're like supposed to keep demons away. That's why, like, that's where like the training is.
Yep.
Okay,
that's also the name of the new memory boost for red and blue cards. Wisteria Memory Boost.
That's pretty cool. Why isn't it not for purple?
Cause fuck purple. They got something else.
You're mean to purple. Purple will remember this.
I am like a majority purple player at the moment. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? Fair. Thank you, Foxtrots. That worked. I didn't know that thing kind of worked that way. I'll be honest.
That it goes through your local host to transmit the data?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Connect.
Oh.
Okay, I'm alive.
And there it is.
I live. I'm back. Thank you. Uniface remind me of a dog that got caught eating some terrible toothpaste. Just the... Okay, let's go. We're back. Chapter 3. Heart to heart, soul to soul. So, I didn't say that right. Heart to heart, soul to soul.
It's not fair, Sokka. How come Dad is letting someone like him stay so close to everyone? He'll get everyone killed.
Katara hadn't been thrilled hearing the news that someone associated with a nation who killed her mother and ravaged her home was currently staying in a prison cell thanks to her father's orders. The hatred she had for the Fire Nation wouldn't be stopped just because this man wanted to put a mask and hide his true nature. She'd proved to everyone that this man was evil, just like the rest of them. I'm just as baffled as you, but I think we should know by now sometimes Dad does stuff we don't understand for good reason. I'm sure he has a good reason for keeping a firebender who could slaughter herself while we're in a sleep so close to where we live. He didn't like it, but even someone like him who idolized his dad found it hard to make sense of this decision.
See, you can't make sense of any of this. Dad is making the wrong call,
She continued to argue.
The only thing fire is good for is to destroy.
Sokka, although older, had a hard time finding fault in his little sister's words. This Rengoku individual seemed nice enough on the surface, but as history has shown them, most of all, if not all of the Fire Nation were rotten to the core. Well, what do you suppose we do, Katara? It's not like we can do much about it anyway. We're just kids. Nobody will take us seriously, Sokka said. Katara furrowed her brow and felt more tears coming up due to her pure frustration with everything. She's really just about to sit back and watch as yet another tragedy unfold right before her very eyes. The moment this man reveals his true colors, things will hit the fan and it'll be too late to fight back or retaliate. Unless... Her expression lit up with the realization writ over her face as she finally found a solution to this whole idea.
Kunru,
She offered. What does he have to do with this? Sokka asked. Half the time he's just a cranky old man going around telling war stories from when he was younger. Yada yada this, yada yada that, and he's always so angry at everyone. It's annoying.
No, Sokka, you're missing the point. Ponder has been at the front line and he's seen firsthand what the Fire Nation is capable of. If we can get him to agree to help us expose that man's true colors, we might be able to change Dad's mind about getting rid of him,
she stated. Sokka waited a moment and thought it over before replying. Ponro is normally just a cranky old man, but I'd be lying if I said I had a better plan than you, sis. Alright, I'll go and talk to him. You just sit back and keep a close eye on Dad and Rengoku.
What? This is my plan. Why are you doing all the heavy lifting?
Katara hoped her idiotic brother wasn't about to say the one thing he fell back on whenever he was being outmatched by a girl. Look, Katara, I understand you want to help save our home, but this is for stuff for men to handle. Women are weaker than men biologically anyway, so it's not like you'll be much of help. No offense. Offense was most definitely going to be taken from a comment like that.
I cannot believe you, she fumed. Even after being the only one of us to actually come up with an actual plan, you decide to hog all the glory for yourself as usual and chalk it up to being a guy thing. You haven't even hit puberty yet, you jerk. Hey, I'll have you know that my voice has squeaked twice in this past month. I am so going through puberty. Actually, that's getting off topic. Sokka began. I'm going over to have a talk with Ponru to see if I can get him to agree to our plan. And you may not like it, but you spying on Dad sure as heck will come off as a lot less suspicious than I would. Whenever I'm keeping an eye on Dad, it's either because I did something bad and have been trying to hide it, or I did something extremely bad and I'm also trying to hide it. For the first time in their conversation, Sokka had said something that actually made sense. It pained her to admit it, but he had a really good point in keeping her eye on Dad. Groaning, she knew he had her beat. Fine, I'll let you have this one. But if you think I won't be witness to him being exposed just because you want me safe, you got another thing coming. I'm a wanderbender, and if push comes to shove, I'll beat him on my own, Katara replied. Sokka's face had slowly morphed into one of pure laughter, as much as he tried to hold it in. Katara knew he wasn't taking her seriously, but he held back his words as he probably didn't want to get drenched in ice-cold water if he continued to poke at her nerves. Sure, little sis, whatever you say, he replied back sarcastically. Walking away from their hiding/meeting spot, Sokka began setting things into motion, leaving Katara to start her mission of keeping tabs on Dad and the Firebender until the plan could commence. So, how's the inmate been? Hakoda asked. It had been 3 days since the trial, and surprisingly, the inmate hadn't even once tried to escape or use his flames. The more he was around this man, the more puzzled he continued to become. Never in his life had he seen a firebender act so courteous and calm before. Normally they'd shoot fire and ask questions later if they were in situations that Rengoku had been in, but instead he took it all without any complaint. Other than non-stop chatting, he's been well behaved, the guard replied. Non-stop chatting? What do you mean? He asked. It's like this guy doesn't have an off switch and he's continuously at full throttle no matter the situation. Half the guards here can barely stand to listen to him prattle about the importance of our sword movements and how we breathe.
It's exhausting just being near this guy, so I don't know how we're going to do a voyage to the Earth Kingdom with him aboard. Rengoku does not shut the fuck up.
Sorry, I'm losing my shit over
Over what?
going on with Aaron.
What?
there's like too much context for this.
You can tell me after.
Yeah.
Does my model have V-Bridger? Your model does not have V-Bridger because I didn't know how to use V-Bridger at the time. I know now. Something from what this man said caught his ear, and he had to make sure he heard it right. So what, he's like some kind of Fire Nation swordsman? Well, as far as we can tell, yes. I don't think he'd agree to being associated with the Fire Nation, but he claims he's one of the strongest swordsmen from his group. He mentioned all of them being Hashira, or for better translation, pillar, whatever that means. The guard answered. Is that Hakoda? If it's him, we need to talk immediately, Rengoku shouted down the hall, all the way from his cell. This pressing matter at hand and cannot continue to be ignored. See what I mean? The guard groaned. His instincts are sharp too, Chief. The fact he could tell it was you who walked in says a lot of seeing, as he shouldn't be able to see us from the way down here. Making their way down to the end of the hall, Hakoda locked eyes with the now bright-eyed Rengoku, who would no longer be ignored by these people. It's good to see you again, Hakoda. You must have been extremely busy, as this is the first time we've met since imprisoning me. Truthfully, Hakoda had barely gotten a full night's rest, with having to juggle dealing with blowback from the Firebender being here, arriving late to his meeting with the Earth Kingdom General, his children giving him the cold shoulder. All in all, it is a lot on his plate, even if he refused to show it to the man in front of him. My well-being is beside the point. You still never answered why you've been causing a ruckus for the past few hours until I was dragged here to address you, Hakoda said. Don't tell me you've forgotten already. I made a promise to that woman. It's one I plan on keeping. So, if you'll allow me to talk with her, that would be wonderful. Rengoku couldn't even dream of forgetting about that woman who had laid her soul bare to him a few days ago. And with her wanting to know why he shares the same smile as her deceased husband and child, he'd be heartless to not help her determine the answer to her question. I cannot in good faith allow the two of you to talk alone. I have a job as the head of the tribe to determine the best possible course of action for my people. And as much as she may not like it, I don't think her dealing with someone like you for extended periods of time would be best for her mentality, Hakoda stated. Now that's completely unfair for both her and I, Rengoku sought back. She gave me a chance when no one else did, and that is the reason why I'm not exiled or killed. To take such a thing away from her after all she's been through is completely unfair, and I won't stand for it. Maybe you aren't getting the picture, so I'll explain it once more. A Hashira is someone who is pillar meant to protect those who cannot do it for themselves. No matter the error, this mindset has not and will not change just because someone in charge believes he knows what's better for someone than the person themselves. What are you hiding from her is a potential chance at freedom from the darkness that has clouded her life these past few years. And coming from one who has also lost someone close to you, I think you would understand her feelings the most. The nerve of this man, sitting in his cell, almost caused Hakoda to lose his temper. How on earth could he attempt to turn this around on him and guilt-trip him when his people's fault that they were in this mess to begin with? Had his people not invaded their home and slaughtered their waterbenders, they wouldn't be going to war, leaving the remaining families alone. Leave us, soldier. Rengoku and I need to have a little chat about who's right and wrong here. Hakoda pushed out, the anger slowly sleeped in his voice. Sir, are you sure this is a good... You must have not heard him the first time, so allow me to reiterate. Leave us alone for a moment. We have things to discuss and assumptions to correct, Rengoku interrupted. He now stood up off the floor of his cell and met Hakoda eye to eye with the same burning passion as earlier when he first talked to his tribe. What?
No, I was replying to Fosco.
There is that look again, Hakoda thought. He'd be lying if the face Rengoku was making wasn't blinding to an extent. He didn't trust his man or his people, but that look told him all he needed to know about whether or not he held any ill intentions towards him or anyone else here. The soldier saluted his chief, and walked out of the door, leaving both Hakoda and Rengoku still staring at each other down, eye to eye. Now that we're alone, is there anything you want to ask me, Hakoda? I can tell there's something extremely heavy weighing on your mind. Silence filled the air as Hakoda tried to determine the right questions to ask this man. Why are you like this? Hakoda finally forced out. You just waltz in here after your people wreak unimaginable havoc on our home. So many died because of it, and you you go against everything we've been raised to know and fear. For the short time you've been here, you managed to touch the heart of someone as broken as Kishna, who lost her entire family in the raid. And yet somehow you were able to reach her when not even her own people could. The way you spoke to her was the way someone speaks, who has also gone through something similar. So I want to ask how on earth you could possibly understand someone like her that makes you want to help so bad. Well, as I've said before, I've only lost my mother. So it's not like I've suffered on the level of any of you. But I have suffered because of her passing, and the people her death affected was great, with my father being one of them, Rengoku spoke. When I saw someone like her in so much pain and eternal turmoil, it reminded me of our father, and how broken he became after our mother passed. I'd be nothing more than a cowardly fool if I didn't try to reach out like I did with him. The somewhat somber look that Hakoda saw briefly flash across his face made him determined to ask about that next. This father of yours, is he Fire Nation as well? Hakoda asked. No, not at all. Before I became the current Flam Hashira, he was the one who preceded me and taught me almost everything I know, Rengoku answered. So all your family is full of swordsmen. How come we've never heard of these Hashira before you arrived anyways? I guess you can say something like that. The Rengoku family has been trained in the way of sword fighting and passed down the art of flame breathing for hundreds of years. The reasons why you've most likely never heard of us is that we tend to move in secrecy and value discretion over anything else.
That's not a lie.
It's not a lie. Deep down, he hated lying to Hakoda, even just a little bit. It's a partial lie. About the true meaning of his sword techniques and how it was created to fight off demons. But again, telling the man the truth might cause him to be written off as a madman, and that's the last thing he needed right now. So you say, but if your family has been tasked with helping others like you're claiming, then how come you haven't made yourselves known earlier? Your father should have known how bad the world had become. What was stopping him from making himself known and helping us? If you were as righteous as you claim to be, then surely he would have advocated for you, Hashira, to abandon secrecy and help us fight off the Fire Nation. If what you say is true, then does this mean that your father and the rest of your swordsmen sat back while countless people died and did nothing to help rectify it? Images flashed. Yeah, it does look sus. I'll be honest, it does look sus. Images
Just a little bit.
flashed to how his father slinked around day in and a day out after their mother passed, and how nothing he said could even seem to break him out of his depressive state. Breaking eye contact with Hakoda, he turned away from him, hating the fact that he had to lie about his origin and the true meaning of why he hadn't intervened in the war. My father... The words came up dry, but the more he thought about his father and how truly lost he was, the more he thought about the good times they had earlier alongside his mother and younger brother. My father was a very lost and troubled man. When I was growing up, he had the same fiery, passionate attitude that you see before you, in me. However, this all changed when our mother passed. Her leaving him caused a stark contrast in his demeanor, and the way he treated me along with my younger brother was another factor in how things eventually played out. I can't fault him for how deeply he loved my mother, and how devastated her death caused him to become. The bond they shared was beautiful, no matter how much he wished it to disappear. The love he had for all of us wasn't one that could be extinguished. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't as though he didn't try his hardest to forget about everything. He drank himself to pure exhaustion most days. The general apathy he showed me and my younger brother wasn't a pleasant sight to behold. You make your father seem as lost as Kishna had become, Hakoda said. The two of them looked extremely similar to me in terms of their overall demeanor towards the world, Rengoku replied. When it was clear that my father was unable to fulfill his duties as Hashira, I was chosen to step up and overtake his spot. When I was informed of the news, my younger brother wanted me to inform my father, hoping it would force any sort of reaction out of him. When I went to his estate to let him know of the coming developments, he wasn't happy at all. In fact, you could say it only made him angry. Angry? Hakoda inquired. Almost righteously so. The first thing he did was throw his drink in my face and berate me for chasing things such as this. He deemed me a fool who'd only end up marked for death and kicked me out, hoping my spirit would be crushed. What kind of father would do something so cruel? Hakoda wondered in disbelief. He knew the Fire Nation was far harder than children than other nations, but this was unbelievable. When I went back to speak with my little brother, he asked me if speaking with him made our father happy. First I wanted to lie to him and tell him that it indeed lifted his spirits, but I knew a lie like that would only get his hopes up for a reality that was not ready to present itself onto us. So I looked him square in the eye and I said, "No, it did not make him happy. I informed him of what he had said and done while I was there, and it brought him to tears." Hakoda slowly noticed his expression lift itself from its earlier somber look, and he almost had to take a double take. As much as he didn't want to, this man resembled her in more ways than one. But I told him, "Do not fret over things you cannot change, nor lose heart in the face of true adversity. Our father is going through his own trials and tribulations. Whether or not he manages to grow and overcome them is something that only he can decide. My mother blessed me with a strong and durable body meant for saving others. And my father..." Closing his eyes, he felt his spirit burn hotter and hotter, looking for any sort of release from his body. "My father blessed me with a burning spirit. Even as he lost his way, the spirit I was gifted could never be extinguished, no matter how much he may have wanted it to happen. It is the obligation of those born strong to defend the weak, to have never lose spark in your heart if you want to fulfill your mission properly. Don't ever forget that." What? Those were the words my mother spoke to me before her passing. I've kept them close to my heart ever since. That's the reason why I'm now taking a proactive stance when it comes to helping bring peace back to the world. My father may have given up and lost hope, but I won't. You can count on that. I can't rectify the things that have been done to you, nor bring back what you have lost. But you have my words that as long as I'm here right now, I won't even let a single person die. I tend to make good on my promises, after all. He finished with a smile so bright, Hakoda almost had to turn away. Since I answered all of your questions, I hope you indulge me with one of my own. Why did you save me anyway? I'm the enemy, and with how things have gone for you and your people, I wouldn't be able to find fault if you have decided to kill me on the spot. Well, that's... Once again, Rengoku had left Hakoda struggling to find his words. With everything he's heard from him, Hakoda saw no harm in finally divulging the reason as to why he chose to spare his life a few days ago. "Your eyes are the same," he said. "Whose eyes are the same?" Rengoku asked, unsure of what he was implying. "When Kishna said that you had the same expression as her deceased husband and son, I couldn't help that you noticed the same hopeful and kind eyes that my wife possessed before they were snuffed out by the Fire Nation soldier. She'd kill me for talking to you about it while burying her from doing the same, but since you've been honest with me, that's the least I can do for you." Someone with eyes like yours can't lie with such conviction written over their face. If it was fake or disingenuous, we would have spotted it from a mile away, and somehow, the Fire Nation civilian possesses eyes that can bring calmness to our minds, and sadness to our hearts when we think about what we've lost. At least, that's what I think was going through her head anyways. See? That's more than enough of a reason to allow me to speak to her. We just had a reasonable discussion of things, and I bet even your heart feels calmer for having it.
His heart what? His heart what?
Feels calmer!
Uh-huh.
Calmer!
Mm-hmm.
Fight me. Either allow me
You
to
know you
speak with
lose.
her, or bring her to me, so we can talk just like you and I have. Now that you are certain I'm not a threat, things should be much easier to digest now. Dakota took a moment to ponder whether or not letting this man out of his cell was a good idea. Weighing the pros and cons of bringing Kishin to see him, he determined that it'd probably be best for everyone if he, along with a few guards, escorted Rengoku over to her home so she could speak to him in private. "I'll allow you to speak with her under a few conditions. 1. You must agree to have your hands and feet bound in chains. This is to prevent you from using your fire bending, or flame breathing as you call it. 2. Do not interact with civilians who may try to talk with you. And 3. Do not, and I repeat, do not, antagonize Ponru. You've already exchanged words with him during your trial, so even if you do dislike what he says, ignore him should you run into him. If you can agree to these terms, and promise me you're on your honor as a Hashira, then I'll allow you to see her." Rengoku's face lit up in anticipation, knowing he was finally going to meet Kishna, so he could make good on his promise. "It's a promise. On my life and status as a flame Hashira, I swear I'll abide by your rules until we reach our destination." Calling in a few guards to bind his limbs and ready him for transport, Hakoda gave the instructions to begin bringing over where Kishna lived, and little did they know, they would have quite a surprise waiting for them when they arrived. They also failed to notice Katara, who had hidden herself away and listened to that entire conversation. The fact that her dad admitted that the firebender had her mother's eyes was inexcusable. There was no way someone like him could be as kind-hearted as she was. The sheer audacity of her father to even justify this as the reason he spared this man's life earlier was downright infuriating.
I'll prove it to everyone that this man's a monster. We won't let him keep brainwashing Dad. I promise, Mom.
"So are you sure this'll work?" Sokka asked, clearly nervous about this plan Ponru had cooked up. Doesn't sound safe. But you're worrying, Brut. As long as you stick to the plan, the Fire Nation scum will be exposed for who he truly is, Ponru replied. From the little he had told Sokka about this plan, he was supposed to act as bait, see whether or not this man was truly as righteous as he claimed to be. Sokka would ask as a damsel in distress and fall through a part of the frozen lake, while Katara would be all the while using her water bending to make sure he stays close enough to the surface to come back up in case they end up being proven right. Do you trust your sister? Ponru insisted. Of course I do. The man didn't miss the hesitation in his voice. But she's still not so good at controlling water, so I have my doubts. Come on, you'll never get anywhere with life with that attitude, Brett. Do you see any of us worrying about every little detail of every plan when it makes it come to fighting the Fire Nation? No, Sokka said. Then as a man you shouldn't either. Nitpicking every little detail will get you killed out in the field. Never forget that, Ponru finished. Now your sister said that she'd be headed in this general direction. You need to get in position, he snapped. He saw his sister standing behind a wall overlooking the frozen layer of ice they were standing on. She gave a signal and a thumbs up, which meant Hakoda and Rengoku were heading their way. Alright, get ready to hold your breath as long as you can when you go down, Ponru stated once more. Got it, Sokka agreed. Sokka fucking dies. Sokka fucking dies, the chapter!
Sokka dies.
I don't know why, but I want to poke Rengoku with a stick. Why do you want to poke Rengoku with a stick?
I mean, he already said that if you ever felt like you...
If you needed to punch him and it makes him feel better, I guess. Like, I don't think he'd say no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you just tell him, hey, it would make me feel very happy if I poke you with a stick, he would smile at you and tell you, go ahead then.
If it makes you feel better, bro. You want to use my sword? I don't think
it's not a stick.
It's not a stick. You're right. It's not a stick. The entire village would undoubtedly be able to hear him when he screamed out for help. He prayed the plan would go smoothly, as the water would be extremely cold, even for someone who had adapted to the constant cold like a water tribe member. Prolonged exposure to water wouldn't do him any good if Katara failed to rescue him in time. He just had to have faith that her bending was advanced enough to pull him ashore once the plan worked. Ponru scurried out of the way and over the same wall Katara had hidden herself behind. He slinked his way back to the village and blended in like he never left at all. He spotted them and headed to the village entrance and figured it was now his time to shine. There's Dad and Rengoku. Taking a deep breath, readying himself to scream as loud as he could. Here goes nothing. Help! I don't want to scream too loud. I don't want to wake people.
Fair enough.
Hakoda, Rengoku, and soldiers escorting them stopped in their tracks when hearing him scream out from a location outside the village. Was that Sokka? Hakoda looked around, hoping it for it not to be the case. The sound came from that direction, Rengoku added. His senses were still in peak condition, so tracking a voice was nothing to him. Pointing to the direction where Sokka should be, they all rushed to the edge of the village and saw a crowd waiting for them. What's happening? Why did I just hear my son shout for help? He's trapped on that frozen lake, and the cracks are pretty bad. We can see them from here, and if he makes any sudden moves, the entire thing could collapse, a villager answered. How the hell did he even get that far to begin with? Another asked. How he got there isn't the issue at hand. What we need to worry about is saving that young man's life. Rengoku interjected loudly. If no one else can get to him in time, leave it to me. With my flame breathing, I'll undoubtedly be the best option to get in and out before the ice can break apart completely. Yet again, the crowd showed no signs of agreeing with Rengoku and his plan to save Sokka from falling into the frozen abyss. Katara was about to drop her brother underneath the ice and waterbend the water to push him up against the ice above him, so it'd give the illusion that he was drowning. Unfortunately for her, things would not go as smoothly as they originally planned. Hold on just a little more. She struggled while trying to hold the ice in place to support his weight. Feeling her hold over the ice grow weaker and weaker, she tried to yell out to Sokka, hoping to reach him in time. It was far too late for that to happen. The ice below him crumbled and he fell into the frozen water below, struggling to find any sort of leverage as he wasn't the strongest swimmer, and the water was beyond cold. Sokka! Hakoda exclaimed. He knew there were maybe a chance both wouldn't survive the frozen water, but if he had to make a last-second judgment call, he'd throw his life away if it meant his son would survive. He loved him far too much to just stand by and let this happen to another person he holds near and dear. He'd never be able to look Kaya in the face when they met again if he couldn't save his only son. Don't worry, son, Without warning, the air around them grew hotter for some reason, and the chains holding Rengoku broke apart without much effort on his part. Focus on your breathing, focus on your breathing. Looking at the boy in front of him drowning didn't leave Rengoku with many options other than to jump into the water and swim to him, hopefully fast enough to get back to land. Dashing forward faster than anyone could stop, he removed the parka covering his body and tore off the wrappings covering his chest and dove into the water, with quickness that made him seem otherworldly. "He's so fast," a villager stated in amazement. "He made it over the water in an instant. I didn't even see him move from where he was standing." Once in the frozen water, he made sure his total concentration breathing was covering all angles, as this was the first time he'd used his breathing form to enhance his physical attributes since being transported here. "All right. All good here," he noted, swimming towards the now sinking Sokka as he dived down with incredible speed and grabbed hold of the boy who had gone unconscious from the freezing depths. Propelling himself through the water, he made it to land almost as quickly as he left, leaving the crowd watching everything completely stunned. While trivial to Rengoku, who had prior experience with his total concentration breathing, to these villagers he looked completely superhuman from the feat they just witnessed. "What the heck? How is he so fast?" Bato wondered, now catching up to Hakoda. He was with Kishna, waiting for Hakoda and Bakuto to arrive before coming outside and seeing this madness unfold. The shirtless man just leapt into waters, borderline freezing.
The shirtless man.
You gotta... No, don't poke me!
No, I allowed it.
No! Why with the broom?
It's the closest thing to a stick you could get.
The shirtless man just leapt into the water's borderline freezing with maybe 10 to 15 seconds, had dived in the water to grab Sokka, and made it back to land all in one go. "Insane," another villager muttered. "I can barely see him with how fast he was moving. Is he not cold?" Murmurs began to spread like wildfire as he brought the now safe Sokka over to Hakoda so he could look over him. "Other than a mild case of the chills, I believe the boy will be all right," Rengoku stated. "I know you told me not to do anything rash until we made it to Kishna's home, but there was no way I could just sit back and watch as the child drowned." Hakoda had no words for what he just witnessed and decided to simply hug his son with the dread leaving his body. "I'm so glad you're safe," he said, still holding Sokka close to him, wanting to warm the boy up by any means necessary. "Quick, bring me as many blankets as you can," he shouted to the villagers standing and watching.
Allow me.
Actually, Hakoda, there is no need for this. With my flame breathing, I'll be able to keep him warm until he wakes up and is able to warm himself. Like I said, my mother blessed me with a strong and durable body meant to protect. My body will keep this child warmer no matter what. All you have to do is trust me and I'll assist in any way you need," he said with another warm smile. Hakoda looked around the village and noticed many unsure looks that surrounded the both of them. Did they really come to trust a firebender? His kind terrorized the world for years, and now all of a sudden, one with a seemingly heart of gold wanders in wanting to bring out change. It sounded too good to be true. And yet, Hakoda wanted more than anything to finally be relaxed with his children, who are his entire world. You managed to surprise me at every turn. Even if my people in my village don't like it, you dove into the frozen water with barely any clothes and got him out of there before things could get any worse. I believe that earned you some trust in my book," he said, looking around at the villagers, gauging their reaction. Many were still unsure about trusting this man, but one stood out over everyone else. "I believe you're right, Hakoda," Kishna interrupted, making herself known to the crowd and heading straight for them. "We can never forget what we lost, and we should not forget about them either. But maybe it wouldn't hurt to look for the future, so the next generation won't have to endure and suffer like we did." "That's right!" Rengoku added. "From this day forward, you'll no longer have to cower in fear to do circumstances out of your control. I may sound repetitive, but I'll say it once more. As long as I'm here, my job is to keep everyone safe from harm, no matter what." Smiling at the crowd and Kishna, he scooped Sokka into his arms and began walking him to the nearest hut where he'd wait for the boy to awaken. "Oh, and Rengoku, I hope you haven't forgotten about that talk you owe me," she started. "Not a chance," he shot back with the same smile as earlier. "Once I finish securing this boy's safety, you are the first stop on my list of promises that need to be kept." There's that smile again. This man is truly something else, she thought. "Also, call me Kyujo. I can't say his fucking first name!
Kyojuro?
Kyojuro. Also, call me Kyorjo. I fucking can't speak English. Rengoku is my surname, and it feels too informal to hear it being repeated over and over. Alright, I'll be waiting for you, Kyojuro." Eventually, the crowd dispersed, and left a shocked Katara and Ponru wondering what the heck they managed to accomplish with this stunt of theirs. It only seemed to improve Rengoku's standing among the villagers and push them further into a trap that would surely come from someone as evil as him. Both knew it was better to not let anyone know that they planned for these events to happen, but Katara felt immense shame and guilt for not being able to hold up her part of the plan and almost getting her brother killed. While Ponder felt nothing but agitation at the fact that this man lives another day in his village. Afterwards, things returned to a sense of normalcy, or as much as one could call normal, while dealing with an hyperactive and loud firebender in the South Pole, and he wasn't attacking.
Why?
Tasty!
Why?
The next few
Every
weeks were smooth
fucking-
sailing, as slowly but surely people warmed up to Rengoku and the kind aura he was giving off constantly. Everyone who interacted with him found it hard to dislike him, even if they went out of their way to be rude. Overall, things were going good, and the trip to the Earth Kingdom would hopefully come smoother than his arrival was. It was not. Not even close. It's looking like the storm has completely let up, Hakoda, Bato informed. We can set sail whenever you give the okay. So it's finally time to head out, huh? Hakoda said. The past 2 weeks he had with his kids, while short, filled him with immense happiness, aside from Sokka almost drowning. Although he was sad to leave them, he understood what needed to be done in order to keep them safe. Gather their troops and inform them we set sail at sunset. I'd rather we travel during the night in case we come across any firebenders. It'll be easier to ambush them that way. What do you plan on doing, Kyojuro? Bato asked. You know, if we take him along with us on the trip, things will get messy at the meeting point once it's learned that he's of Fire Nation origin. I know that, Bato. I'll be the first to admit. He's grown on me in the past few weeks, and I don't want to imagine what would happen if someone like him inside of an Earth Kingdom prison. You've heard the rumors, right? The tales had been shared.
There is no war in Bossing Say.
There is no war in Bossing Say. I couldn't imagine someone as nice as Kyojuro having his hands crushed. He doesn't deserve that, Batsu added. I know. Hakata only had one plan in mind, but it wasn't one he was keen on acting out. Batsu, I know you and many others won't like this, but what if we left him? Broke in the middle of a speech, a soldier barged through the door with sheer fear covering his face. Chief! Was all he managed to say before trying to catch his breath. We saw it, I immediately ran towards you so you could figure out some plan. We don't even know why they're here, it doesn't make sense. Calm down, what are you talking about? Hakoda asked. Just look! The soldier pulled back the curtain. Both men went wide-eyed at what they were seeing, the implication behind it.
Oh, Ash.
Black snow, Bato forced out, still in shock.
Yeah.
Damn it, you can't be serious! Hakoda, seeing no time to waste, jumped up and gathered a spear ready for whatever today might bring. He doesn't want to fight, but will protect his home for whatever the Fire Nation can throw at him. He won't make the same mistakes as last time. Gather everyone at the entrance, Bato. We will drive them away and set sail today. If we want to keep our friends and family safe, then we must win it, no matter the cost. Rushing out of the hut, they saw villagers standing and staring at the black snow falling from the sky with pure terror on their faces. It's happening again. No, no, no. We can't stop them all. They'll kill us. Ignoring the crowd and rushing to the entrance, they stopped when noticing Kyujuro standing there with his arms crossed, waiting for some reason unknown to them. He was dressed up in his blue parka that had been given to him on his arrival, but now sported that flaming Hiyori he was so adamant on keeping.
Let's fucking go.
Kyojuro, what are you doing here? Hakoda asked. Kyojuro completely ignored him and instead chose to keep looking towards a now visible ship coming and closer to the village he promised to protect. Are these the men who attacked your home 3 years ago, Hakoda? Kyojuro asked. Yes, of course they are. Why are you standing here with no weapon? I don't need a weapon to deal with people such as these. They'll be too weak to deal with me anyhow. But the fact that they showed back up to a place they ravaged and terrorized is absolutely unforgivable. I don't like taking human lives, but if they do not stand down and surrender when they arrive, I'll have no choice but to burn them all to ash. The air surrounding Kyojuro grew intense, and Hakoda did do nothing more than watch until the ship inevitably reached their homes for a second time. Kyojuro wouldn't just stand by and let these people suffer at the hands of these demons any longer. He'll show them how fire should be used and protect everyone here while doing it. It's the entire reason he became a demon slayer after all. And even in this new environment, his desire to protect those weaker than him will not and shall not change. Bah. And I think we're calling it there. That's chapter 3.
What do you mean?
Do you want to do another chapter?
Does it get a sword in the next chapter?
Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe it's this chapter, or because, let me go ahead and check the chapter name.
I mean, actually, it depends more on you. If you're too tired, it's Gucci.
Let me just do a thing. Do, 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 do. Do. He does not get his sword this chapter.
All right, then let's
It's
not
the next
push
chapter.
you then.
Yeah, it's the chapter after this. So, yeah, we're gonna call it there. Thank you for joining us for Fanfiction Friday. Not sure when the next one will be because we want to try doing cards next week, so we shall see. But thank you for joining, and I hope you have a good night. The name and the author is right here. I'm going to put in the link after I finish because I forgot to do that first.
Mr. Mistle Pixley.
Mexley99. Mexley99. That's their name.
Mr. Pixies.
Why are you calling them that?
Because, yes.
I decided to go ahead and look at their other fan fictions, and the fan fiction they posted after this one is called Chase the Sun, and it's One Piece and Avatar The Last Airbender.
They really like Avatar The Last Airbender, don't
They like Avatar The Last Airbender. I think that's most of what their fics are. Let me look. Nope, their most recent one is One Piece and Justice League.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, thank y'all for joining, and I hope you have a good night.
Later.